4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
To infinity and beyond.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show. Here's your host, Zach Gelb.
Live from the Play Show, not overly ostentatious studios of the Infinity Sports Network here in beautiful New York City, sitting on top of the 10th floor of 345 Hudson Street. Welcome on in to what is a Wednesday edition of the Zach Gelb Show across all of great local Infinity Sports Network affiliates, Sirius XM, Channel 375, the free Odyssey app, the iHeartRadio app, and streaming live on YouTube. 888-710-4ISN is the number to jump on in. That's 888-710-4476. You could always get at me on Instagram, where I'm straight flexing, or via the good old cesspool of Twitter, at Zach Gelb. That's ZACHGELB. Got a whole lot to do today. Mark Schlereth is going to join us at the top of the hour at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. It is a Hickey Hex Wednesday, a Ryan Hot Take Hickey Wednesday. Usually we do that at 3:40. Hickey has a very important call today, so he told me he had to do it at 4:20. So he will join us at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'll just say this. I use my creative abilities to put together a Hickey Hex montage for his love affair with Anthony Richardson and his belief that Anthony Richardson was going to be the next great Indianapolis Colts quarterback, and we will have a little fun at the expense of our pal Hickey. And just like how Anthony Richardson got tired in the game and he tapped himself out, I'm kind of getting tired at this point of just a low-hanging fruit that is making fun of Hot Take Hickey's kind of terrible predictions. So I may tap myself out, who are we kidding, of the Hot Take Hickey business, but I'm doing one of these montages, and I'm in the back production studio, and I'm pulling the audio, and I'm putting it together, and I go, it's just so easy, but it's such low-hanging fruit at this point. So Ryan Hickey live in studio today, boys and girls, children of all ages, at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Time. So I haven't really thought much of the NFL Top 100 list, if I'm just being transparent with you. Right now, we are down to, I believe, let me just get the latest number, the 25, there's 24 spots remaining. So they just released who is the 25th best player in the NFL, and it's someone that Samter is a big fan of, and someone that Samter thought was one of the more quiet offseason signings a year ago. And that's a guy that's been around the league in a long time, and he's been very successful. Danielle Hunter, who made his debut with the Houston Texans last season. So he was 25. But so far, as there's 24 spots to go, a player that has not been named yet is Jalen Hurts. Now, once again, I haven't really been paying close attention to this list. And it would not have even come up in my thought process to lead a show with this segment. But then I heard Yapper, Sports Talk Yapper. I just love to say that about other talk show hosts. Joe Giglio at the machine that is 94 WIP. And he did a segment today where he listed 25 or 24 players that he thinks the NFL players are going to put in front of Jalen Hurts. And, yeah, do I think Sauce Gardner last year was a top 25 NFL player? No, I don't. I thought Sauce Gardner had a really bad season last year. But let's be real. A lot of this is a popularity contest. Also, a lot of the voting gets done in season anyway. So I've never really got bent out of shape with the NFL Top 100 list because there's been years where Tom Brady wasn't the best quarterback or Patrick Mahomes wasn't the best quarterback. And you sit there and you go, what the heck are we doing? Like, for example, last year, Tyreek Hill was voted the number one player on the NFL Top 100. Nothing against Tyreek Hill. But I almost feel as if you have to put a quarterback number one. And Tyreek Hill being number one, this year, he wasn't even close to being number one. So I have never really put a great care in the NFL Top 100 list. But I'm sitting there, and I understand that most people don't know how this works. But they asked the players in season. So the players didn't know at the time if Jalen Hurts was going to go on to win a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl MVP. But let's also be real about it. It wasn't as if Jalen Hurts had the greatest regular season that we've ever seen. So I'm listening to Joe Giglio on the clip that they put out there. And he's under the belief that Jalen Hurts is not going to be on the NFL Top 100. So I just took a glance at the list last year. And last year, Jalen Hurts was voted 15th by the NFL players. So I still have to believe that when push comes to shove, and however long it takes from now until the season starts, where we find out who the other 24 players are that are on this list, I would like to think that Jalen Hurts is going to be in the top 24. But if he's not, am I going to be irate? I don't think I will be. I just think it's stupid. And the whole list is a farce. Because I don't care when you do the voting. You can't tell me Jalen Hurts with what he's done so far in his NFL career, even if you don't think he's a great quarterback. But you can't tell me that he isn't a top 100 NFL player. So I don't really want to make a big deal out of this until we have the answer. But it's not as if Joe Giglio is just trying to be a contrarian about Hurts to be a contrarian. But he fully believes that Jalen Hurts isn't going to be on this list. Now, let me just tell you so far, here are just the quarterbacks so far in the NFL Top 100. Tua Tagovailoa was 91. Other quarterbacks that made the list, Dak Prescott was 79. Like, how is an injured Dak Prescott 79 and Jalen Hurts isn't going to be in the NFL Top 100, if it's true? Other quarterbacks that made the list, oh boy. He had a good season. Sam Darnold in at 72. Like, is Sam Darnold really going to be on this list and Jalen Hurts isn't? Jordan Love was in at 68. Bo Nix was in at 64. Matthew Stafford was in at 59. Justin Herbert was in at 56. Baker Mayfield was in at 50. CJ Stroud was 39. So I believe we're at 9 quarterbacks so far. Any other quarterbacks after Stroud at 39 that were they on the list? They were not. So that's 9 right there. You have 24 more spots left. Obviously, Lamar Jackson's going to be there. Obviously, Joe Burrow is going to be there. Obviously, Josh Allen's going to be there. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is going to be there. So that's right there tracking to be 13 quarterbacks on this list. I would like to think that Jaden Daniels is also going to be there, so that's 14. And how the heck is Jalen Hurts not going to be on this list? Like, we have debates. Is Jalen Hurts a top 5 quarterback? I think so. My top 5 quarterbacks in this order in the NFL right now are Mahomes 1, Josh Allen 2, Lamar Jackson 3, Joe Burrow 4, Jalen Hurts 5. So how are you not going to put Jalen Hurts in the NFL top 100? Once again, I don't want to put the cart before the horse. I don't want to do that. And I don't want to make a big deal out of this and be like, oh, shame on the NFL top 100 list. What a joke this is. What a farce this is. You know, what a stupid list this is. And then it comes out tomorrow that, oh, he was voted 21. And last year he was voted 15. And I understand it's the summer. And I understand people sometimes, talk show hosts, they need things to talk about. And in Philadelphia, right, it's football, 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 even though they'll pretend to be all crazy and delirious about the Philadelphia Phillies. In Philadelphia, it's death, it's taxes, and it's football. That's what it is. Nothing unites that city. Nothing brings that city together like the Philadelphia Eagles do. So if you're doing a show in Philadelphia, sports talk radio show, there is not a day that goes by where you don't bring up the Philadelphia Eagles. And right now, as you sit here on the 20th day of August, what is there to really talk about with the Eagles that's going to elicit a reaction? Like the Eagles going into this season, from a storyline standpoint, they're just not sexy because they just were the best team in the NFL last year. There's no real drama surrounding this team. Sure, you have a new offensive coordinator. Does the rest of the world care about the Eagles' offensive coordinator? No, they don't. And you still look at that team. You got Saquon, you got Jalen, you got A.J. Brown, you got Devontae Smith. I know they had that injury up front, but it looks like everything's going to be okay in terms of the long term of the season. They still have a great offensive line. You know, you still got Zach Bond. You still got the exciting whites in Cooper DeJean and Rashid Blankenship. You still got Quinyon Mitchell. You still got Jalen Carter. Nick Sirianni has been a very good coach for them. So from really a local or a national standpoint, there's not a lot to freak out about with the Philadelphia Eagles. But in a bizarre way, in what should have been an offseason of just respect to Jalen Hurts, I do think a lot of people are taking unnecessary and ridiculous shots at Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts right now is a top 5 quarterback. If you don't think he is a top 5 quarterback, then at worst, you got to at least say that he's the 7th best quarterback in the NFL. Like, Jalen Hurts is easily a top 10 quarterback. And the Philadelphia Eagles are easily one of, if not the best team in the NFL entering this season. And you look at Jalen Hurts' journey, whether it was getting benched at halftime of a national championship game, staying at Alabama, the next year taking over for an injured Tua Tagovailoa in an SEC championship game and winning that SEC championship game, then going to Oklahoma and guiding the Oklahoma Sooners to another college football playoff, guiding the Oklahoma Sooners to having another Heisman Trophy finalist, then getting drafted in the 2nd round. Oh, it was an insurance policy for Carson Wentz. No, Jalen Hurts was actually better, it turned out, than Carson Wentz. And every time that this guy's been a starting quarterback in the NFL, they've bare minimum been in the playoffs. Wild card round year 1. You then look, they were in a Super Bowl year 2. I know it was horrible a year ago down the stretch after they had that incredible start, but they still made the wild card round, and they got to the Super Bowl, and they defeated the team that is all that right now in the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's a testament to the leader and the type of player Jalen Hurts is. But people will sit there and they'll go, oh, Jalen Hurts has the perfect environment around him. Oh, Jalen Hurts has an elite offensive line. Jalen Hurts is a great 1-2 punch at the wide receiver position. Jalen Hurts has arguably the best running back in the NFL. But here's the thing. If Jalen Hurts was in an environment where he didn't have a great running back and he didn't have great wide receivers and he wasn't playing well, everyone would be crushing Jalen Hurts and would be trying to kick him out of the league. There's other quarterbacks that are in great situations that aren't playing great. Like, look at Justin Herbert, phenomenal offensive line. Has Jim Harbaugh, a championship-winning coach. Justin Herbert is allergic to winning a game in the postseason. Joe Burrow, I know individually he was incredible last year. And he has Jamar Chase, and he has T. Higgins. Does anyone ever hold that against Joe Burrow? No. So if Jalen Hurts isn't on the NFL Top 100 list, it just adds on to the summer of jackassery that has been in where we should be praising this underdog. We should be praising this guy that fought through adversity. And instead, a lot of people are just taking lame and unnecessary shots at Jalen Hurts. Once again, I don't want to freak out about the possibility of Hurts not being on this list. But Joe Giglio brought up this point, and he named 25 players that could be on this list that aren't named Jalen Hurts. And could you disagree with a name or two like a Sauce Gardner and the way that he played last year? Yes, but I think Sauce Gardner is going to be on that list because Sauce Gardner is popular in the NFL, and he's already been kind of pointed as a top 5 corner in the league, even though he didn't play like a top 5 corner last year. So Giglio brought it up, and it made me got thinking, will he be on the list? And then I looked and I said, okay, hey, Hurts was ranked 15th last year. Is he really going to fall out of the top 25? I have a hard time believing that. I really do. And in a weird way, because Jalen Hurts has a Jordan type of mentality. I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is Michael Jordan. Let me be clear. But he has a Jordan mentality where I think he looks for things that are said, even if they're not really said, but things that are just speculated. And he uses that to get him into a different place to kind of give everybody the middle finger and shut them down and show them, no, I'm not what you think I am or what's being said about me or what's being speculated about me. But honestly, they're making it easy for Jalen Hurts this summer because people are taking shots. People aren't giving him his due that he's deserved after winning a Super Bowl MVP. And all that's going to do is make Jalen Hurts better because some guys don't thrive off that stuff. Some guys, right, you have someone say something negative about them and they're like, oh, what does that person know? I really do believe like how Jordan does and how Jalen Hurts will continue to do. You have a minor thing that gets said about you or a big thing that gets said about you, and you really let that sit inside of you, and it just takes you to a different place, and you internally respond, and it just sends an entire shockwave through your body where it's like, okay, now I'm going to go on the Bleep You tour. And Jalen Hurts, in a weird way, just had his Bleep You tour in the postseason. And he may have another one this year because still people are being disrespectful, in my estimation, to Jalen Hurts, whether he's on this NFL Top 100 list or not. But if he isn't, it just adds more fuel to the fire. It is the Zach Gelb Show right here on the Infinity Sports Network, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. It is a Wednesday. We'll do a Take 5 Wednesday when we come on back. And with college football starting back up this week, with it being week 0, I'll give you my top 5 coaches in college football entering this season.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You're listening to the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network.
All right, it is Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. We have an update on Lamar Jackson to any Ravens fan that were potentially freaking out because Lamar Jackson suffered an injury today. We have some good news for you. So here was the original report from Jamison Hensley. Lamar Jackson left Wednesday's practice early with what appeared to be a right wrist and hand injury. About 90 minutes into practice, Jackson got knocked down. He stayed for a few plays before heading into the facility. So that elicits a lot of people being, oh my goodness gracious, what's going on with Lamar Jackson? Is he going to be good? Season right around the corner. A guy that's already won 2 MVPs, could win a 3rd MVP this year. Well, Adam Schefter just tweeted out, when Lamar Jackson left practice, he appeared to be flexing his wrist, but a Ravens spokesperson just told the media that Jackson got his foot stepped on and he's fine. So he just got his foot stepped on, and this is part of training camp in the lead up to the season, where if you tweak something or if something doesn't feel right, it's better to be safe than sorry. So it seems like that's another one of these situations right here where they were just being cautious, and it was, I don't want to say a little bit misreported, but when you get some clarity on it, not the end of the world in what we were told. So if you're just taking for what the Ravens say at what it is worth, it looks like they're going to be okay. Before I get to a Take 5 Wednesday, I honestly can't wait until 5:20 p.m. Eastern time when we do a news brief. So I just got to play you this audio right now. We have all been in press conferences. Stu, Samter, myself, we've all been in press conferences. And I think I'm elite. Not just good, but I'm elite at asking questions in press conferences. You know, I'm not afraid to ask something that maybe the player doesn't want to answer, or ask it in a way that comes off as if I'm an actual human being and just not trying to get the player on a gotcha moment. And that goes for coaches and commissioners as well. Like, for example, last year I go to see the Steelers play the Eagles, and there's always that thought the Steelers are just good, not great. And the Steelers lost that game, so I walked to the press conference room, and I asked Russell Wilson, hey, is this a team that can be great? Because it looks like you guys are just a good team and not a great team, and a loss to the Eagles once again shows that. And then Russ gives me his answer. You know, I've had, other well-known moments where some people, they got annoyed by the questions, even though it's the right questions to ask. You know, you look back at what happened with Debo. I don't really think Aaron Donald was annoyed at me. It was more of the PR team. But I go to that, when the Mets introduced, who was it? Who was the manager? But maybe it was Mickey Callaway? I think. Maybe? I don't remember who the manager was. Oh, no. Who was the manager? When the Mets wanted people to hire Joe Girardi. Was Beltran the manager for 10 days or something with the Mets? That's what it was. It was Carlos Beltran. Remember, he was the manager for a month or two, and then he never actually managed the game. And it was all because of the fallout from that Astro scandal. And a lot of people wanted an experienced manager in Joe Girardi. So I remember raising my hand, and I got called on, and I go, hey, I think I was working for Sirius at the time. Hey, Zach Gelb at Sirius, Mad Dog Radio, the 3 months I worked there. Brody Van Wagenen. Carlos, first off, congratulations. I know it's a great day for you and your family. But Brody, a lot of fans wanted Joe Girardi to get the job, and you guys interviewed Joe. So why wasn't Joe Girardi not the right guy for you, and you ended up going with Carlos Beltran? So, those are just some things that I've done before in my career. So there's been other moments where I've been in press conferences, right? UFC. The other night when I'm talking to Dana White back and forth about John Jones potentially being on the White House card, and Dana goes, oh, it's a 1 billion to 1 chance. And then John Jones releases a statement about it. That's what I just do when I go to these press conferences. I ask things that people want to hear because I've always done this. And I know it's National Radio Day. So happy National Radio Day to all. And I love our team here, obviously, at Odyssey and all of our great listeners in the community that we've built. And I've always thought this. And Angelo Cataldi, when I interned for him at WIP, he said, you don't do this job to become friends with coaches. You don't do this job to become friends with players. You don't do this job to suck up to them or even suck up to your bosses, right? And have good relationships with your bosses. But you do this job for the person listening. And when you're behind this microphone each and every day, it's your duty, it's your responsibility to do what the listener wants to hear. And you have to think about the listener with every word that you say into the microphone. So that's always how I approach the job. But being fully transparent, I have gone to enough of these press conferences where I hear questions that I ask, that are asked. And I'm just go, what the bleep is wrong with that person? Who was the dope in Indianapolis? Was it Greg Doyle? It may have been him. I don't want. If I'm wrong in that name, I apologize. But remember that whole incident with Caitlin Clark where she does the love symbol, and he just said it in a really creepy way. And I go, what the F is wrong with you? Seriously. And then there's other times you have these cheesy TV reporters that are just looking for a 10-second shot. And like someone will go on to advance to the NBA Finals or the Stanley Cup Final or a World Series or, a Super Bowl. And the cheesy TV reporter will go, let's say it's Patrick Mahomes. Patrick, you're going, they're always just so dramatic, the TV reporters. Patrick, you're going back to another Super Bowl. How does it feel? Like, how do you think it feels, you moron? So I say that being an elite person in press conferences and always having a purpose when I go to a press conference, when I ask a question, and I just sometimes go, how do people either phrase questions a certain way or how do they just sound just so creepy or they just sound like a robot and not like a human? So, like, don't get me wrong. Myles Garrett goes 100 miles per hour driving. Stupid, idiotic, dangerous, reckless. He has to answer it. And Myles Garrett is at the podium today, knowing he has to answer for these things. And let's be real. Myles Garrett didn't want to talk about it. So Myles Garrett could handle it however he wants, right? He's a grown man. If he doesn't want to answer the questions, he doesn't have to answer the questions. But the questions have to be asked. And here's how a reporter elected to ask Myles Garrett about the entire going 100 miles per hour and speeding. And let me just be clear here. This almost gave Myles Garrett an out because now no one's really talking about, oh, he didn't want to answer the questions. They're talking about whoever this dopey reporter is and the way that he asked this question. And it's one of those moments where I just go, what the bleep is wrong with this reporter that asked this question in this certain way? So here was the exchange with Myles Garrett and whoever this media member was.
What is it like to be in that car and seeing that speedometer creep up toward 100, like 1 mile per hour?
I'd honestly rather talk about football on this team than anything I'm doing off field other than the back to school, event that I did the other day.
But still, I mean, people want to know about that.
People want to know a lot of things.
Huh? First off, the dude sounds as if he just spent a Saturday night with Stu. Yo, Myles, when you're sitting there on the speedometer and you're looking at it and you're saying, yo, dude, I'm driving fast. What is it like to be going 100 miles per hour? Almost as if he's praising Myles Garrett, who did something stupid, for kind of being a badass going 100 miles per hour. Play me the beginning of that again.
What is it like to be in that car and seeing that speedometer creep up toward 100, like 1 mile per hour?
What? Like, what way is that to ask the question? Wouldn't a better question be, hey, Myles, you were going 100 miles per hour. You know that's not safe. What were you thinking? Instead of almost just making it out, oh, we need to praise Myles Garrett and make it look almost cool that he was going 100 miles per hour. And there is a lot of stupid things that get asked by the media and things that need to be asked. But how that question was worded and phrased, it is idiotic. All righty, let's get to a Take 5 Wednesday on the Zach Gelb Show.
The football season might be over.
What? Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is.
But don't you worry, there are still rankings to be made. So get ready as Zach gives you his top 5 in this week's special edition of Take 5 Wednesday.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
Alrighty, so a lot of times through the summer, we talk about who are the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, who are the top 10 quarterbacks in college football, who are the top 10 coaches in NFL or college. Today, we're doing on a Take 5 Wednesday, entering this season, who do I view as the top 5 coaches in college football? I'll give you 5 right now. And then at the 5th spot, I think this will be a little bit controversial, but he did take Washington to a national championship game. I know he didn't make the college football playoff at Alabama, but I have my reasons, and I'll get more into that and speak now, forever hold your peace, why this guy is in the 5th spot and 2 other coaches aren't. But I put Kalen DeBoer in at number 5. In at number 4, Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman, I understand that he lost to Northern Illinois in week 2 after going into College Station and taking care of business up against Texas A&M. But I thought that was going to crumble that program season. And instead, they didn't lose a game until the national championship. They made it all the way to the national championship. And in that process, in the playoff, they beat Indiana, they beat Georgia, they beat Penn State, and then they almost came back to defeat the best team in the country last year, and that was Ohio State. Marcus Freeman is in at number 4. Number 3, I got to be true to myself here. I do. You know, I crushed this guy the last few years. I crushed him after he lost to Michigan once again, and he deserved all of it. But you find out a lot about a person when everything isn't going their way. And say what you want about Ryan Day. Oh, he has all the talent in the world. Ryan Day going on and winning that national championship makes him one of 3 active coaches in Division I with the national championship. So I have to put him in at number 3. And he doesn't lose many games. He just loses to Michigan. In at number 2, I think this may surprise some people. Last year, he easily, without hesitation, would have been my number 1 coach. But the last 2 seasons, he hasn't been back to winning a national championship. And I understand he won back-to-back national championships. And then the last 2 seasons, he hasn't won a national championship. And last year, you know, he still won the SEC, so give him credit for that. But then you lost in the college football playoff off of a bye to Notre Dame. Kirby Smart, I have relegated him back to the number 2 spot instead of being number 1. And a big reason because of that is there's a lot of messiness with that program off the field, but really on the field, you start to say you're the next Alabama, or people give you that. Going 2 years without a national championship isn't up to your standard. And if you really want to be the next Alabama, you better win a national championship this year. And in at number 1, if you would have told me last year that I would put Dabo Swinney 1 and Ryan Day 3, I would say, what drugs are you on? But I look at Dabo. He won the ACC last year. He's starting to embrace the transfer portal a little bit more than he has in years past. It's still not perfect, but I look at the difference between Dabo and Kirby. The job that Dabo has done in building Clemson, even though what Kirby has done at Georgia has been very impressive, it's just more impressive. And now Clemson has that feel going into this season like they're a national championship contender once again, and also they had the same amount of championships. So I give the slight edge to Dabo Swinney over Kirby Smart. So my top 5 coaches entering this season in college football: 5, Kalen DeBoer; 4, Marcus Freeman; 3, Ryan Day; 2, Kirby Smart; and 1, Dabo Swinney. Samter, speak now, forever hold your peace.
I am shocked that you have Dabo number 1, not because he doesn't deserve it, but because you've been on the bash Dabo train for years.
No, I've just been right on Dabo the last 3 years, where it's been he is a coach that obviously can win the ACC, even though, right, we've seen Pitt win it, we've seen Florida State win it, and then we've seen Clemson win it again. But Dabo, the standard, which is a testament to Dabo, is not just to win the ACC, it's to win a national championship. And I feel like Clemson can win a national championship once again this year. So that's why I moved him into the number 1 spot.
Well, you had one of your least favorite coaches, or one of the guys you've been knocking for years, as number 1. Another guy you've been knocking for a very long time, Ryan Hickey's head coach, James Franklin. Listen, say what you will. The dude just keeps winning. He got to the Final Four.
he wins all the games that don't really matter.
Yeah. Except for the playoffs.
Well, what game did he really win last year? And when they played their first legitimate playoff team, like the average fan would think is an actual playoff team, they ended up losing to Notre Dame in a game that they should have won. And that wasn't really even his fault. It was Drew Aller. But before that, you had Penn State beat SMU, and they beat Boise State. I hype up Boise State and SMU more than any other national talk show host. Right? We've had tons of players on from SMU. I led a campaign back in August last year for Ashton Genty, for crying out loud. But they're not your stereotypical playoff teams. And when you went up against another big boy program, you didn't find a way to win when you had a golden opportunity to get to a national championship. So Franklin, this is what I said about him for years. He's a good coach, but he's not great. And therefore, that's why he's not in my top 5.
Another guy who has done a lot in the regular season.
And can I just say one more thing?
Maybe.
Thank you. I appreciate you allowing me to have this platform to say that. I actually think James Franklin will win a national championship this year. So I've been positive about James Franklin this offseason. But right now, top 5 coaches, there's those 5 coaches I gave are more impressive. Dabo has 2 national championships. Ryan Day has a national championship. Kirby Smart has 2 national championships. Marcus Freeman has coached a national championship game, and so has Kalen DeBoer.
All right. Well, a guy who hasn't been to a national championship game, but had the number 1 team in the country last year before falling short, Dan Lanning at Oregon.
So I considered, and I'll save Sark, but I really considered Sark, Dan Lanning, and Kalen DeBoer. And yes, last year, Oregon had a better year than Alabama. Texas had a better year than Alabama. But I looked at the year prior to that. Dan Lanning had 2 opportunities to take care of business at Oregon and defeat Washington when they were going up against each other in the Pac-12 in 2023. And Oregon lost both of those. They lost 36-33 on October 14th back in 2023, and then they played again in the Pac-12 championship game on December 1st, and they lost 34-31. So I give DeBoer the edge because of the head-to-head battle. That was the difference for me.
All right, well, you mentioned Sark, so let's go with Sark.
Sark has done a remarkable job at Texas. We've always joked, is Texas back? They won the Big 12 championship under Sark, and then first in the SEC, they made the SEC championship game. The tiebreaker there, though, Sark is not coached as the head coach in a national championship game. Sark had a horrible play call with a chance to beat Ohio State in the Final Four. But I also go back in the tiebreakers of 2023. Sark in the playoffs at Texas in a game where many people thought he was going to win, was going up against Washington with Kalen DeBoer, and Sark lost that game 37-31. So that was just the tiebreaker that I used, putting Kalen DeBoer in front of Sark.
And the last one, Brian Kelly at LSU and his family.
The Tiger family. He left Notre Dame, correct, to go win a national championship. Well, he hasn't even made a college football playoff in his first 3 seasons at LSU, and he's had a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. So Brian Kelly's a good coach. What he did at Notre Dame was very impressive, but I need to see him take that next level with this LSU Tiger family. All righty, that will do it for a Take 5 Wednesday. We'll come on back. Field Yates has his latest mock draft out there. Is the March for Arch already on? We'll get to that on the other side. Update time first. Here's El Capitan, Marco Belletti.
Infinity Sports Network. Sports Flash.
Zach, we're sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with our easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com. Still nothing new on the Micah Parsons Cowboys dispute. No contract talks for months. Adam Schefter seems to think this doesn't bode well for a long-term marriage.
I see these 2 sides headed towards a divorce in time. The only question is, when is that divorce going to happen, and how is it going to happen? Are they going to trade him now? Are they going to trade him after this year? Are they going to move on when? But it certainly doesn't feel like these 2 sides want to enter a long-term relationship together.
That courtesy of the Adam Schefter podcast. Meanwhile, the Bears and backup quarterback Tyson Bagent agreeing to a 2-year extension at $10 million. Falcons right tackle Caleb McGarry carted off the practice field an apparent leg injury. MRI still to come. Taking a look at the baseball scoreboard, couple games still going. The Phillies have now jumped out to an 8-2 advantage on the Mariners, still in the top of the 8th inning in Philadelphia. Kyle Schwarber's driven in 3. Tigers on the backs of a 6-run first inning continue to lead the Astros 7-2. They're now in the top of the 9th. And one final, Tommy Pham with a 2-run double lifted the Pirates by the Blue Jays 2-1. I'm Marco Belletti.
The Infinity Sports Network is on your smart speaker. All you have to say is, play Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network.
It's time to ask the pros. You're the listener who gets to ask us the question. Brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Simply tweet your question at INF Sportsnet or at Zach Gelb using the hashtag #AskThePros. Be listening later in the show. We might answer your question. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Can I ask you guys a question? Would you guys be interested in doing a group sing-along on the O'Reilly Auto Parts? Hey, would you be down still?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Santa?
I would be down, but our listeners should not want that because my voice is that of a dying cat.
All right, try this again. Just do the O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Pretty good.
Oh.
Now let's all try together. Ready? A one, a two, a 1, 2, schoolly-do.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
That's pretty good. I like that.
That went better than I thought it would.
Yeah, send that to Adam Schifrin. I should have a personal endorsement for O'Reilly Auto Parts.
That is more likely to get us dropped by O'Reilly than to get us any extra bonus.
I don't think so. I think they would love it. I think they should have us do the TV commercial. Let's try it one more time. Ready? A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, stu-do-do-do.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
That's a good job. I'm proud of ourselves.
You know, I think that last one was better. The first couple were just, they were rough.
I had you guys hold the notes out I'm conducting here if you can't see us on YouTube. And I'm like, all right, let's see if we get any voice cracks here.
My voice cracked.
Anyway.
Puberty is a pain in the ass.
Yeah. You're still going through puberty at 55?
Hey! 53.
You're not 50.
No.
We've done this. You're 44?
5.
You just turned 45?
March, yeah.
March. And Stu, you're 33?
33.
Mm-hmm. All right. March, when's your birthday, Santa?
6th. The same as Shaquille O'Neal and Michelangelo, the Ninja Turtle.
Not the painter?
Well, him too.
Oh, okay.
They're one and the same.
Okay. So March 6th.
Correct.
Stu, your birthday?
November 22nd, the day Kennedy was shot.
Oh, wow.
Sweet.
We go from Shaq's birthday to the day Kennedy was shot. Oh, my God. So March 6th, and sorry, I forgot yours
November
already.
22nd.
November 22nd.
I'll never forget that's the day after my brother's.
Okay. And mine's August 9th. You know who I share a birthday with?
Let's go with Ryan Hot Take Hickey.
No.
James Franklin.
Not that I know of.
Dabo Sweeney.
No. You're close, though. It's in the college football world.
Let's go with Nick Saban.
No, but you're getting even closer.
Kirby Smart.
You're moving further away.
Ooh.
I believe I have a birthday with this guy.
Kalen DeBoer.
Deion Sanders, Coach Prime.
Oh. Well, that'll work.
Yeah, now other famous August 9th birthdays. How is Deion Sanders not listed? Oh, yeah, there he is. Let me just make sure that this is correct, that she was also born on August 9th. Wow. She's dead, but Whitney Houston was August 9th as well. That's pretty good. Coach Prime and Whitney Houston. Anybody else? Famous birthdays on August 9th. Oh, Livy Dunn. No, I'm just kidding. Santa just loves Livy Dunn so much.
Don't do that to me. I need an in.
Yeah, Paul Skeens. That's not going to happen. I'm just saying.
You know.
I saw Paul at UFC.
What does he have that I don't?
He's 6'6".
And? Height doesn't matter. She's short.
6'6". And a bank account that's going to be crazy, I would imagine.
All right, fine. Bank account I'll give you.
Yeah. Anyway, so Archie Manning, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, basically made it clear that Arch is going back to college for another year after this season. This was Arch Manning yesterday, and I just thought, right, that was calculated by the Mannings. I talked about this yesterday. Then Arch would speak, be like, yeah, I agree with my grandpa, and that would just eliminate the distraction until Arch either wins the Heisman Trophy or wins a national championship, and then everyone's like, what's the point of you going back to college for another year? Here is how Arch handled that yesterday. Listen up.
Yeah, I don't know where he got that from. He texted me and apologized about that, but I'm really just taking it day by day right now.
So he's just taking it day by day. He doesn't know where Grandpa got that information from, and Grandpa called and apologized for it because of that. Do you think, let me just ask a question. This would be very grandfatherly. Do you think, because the perception has been that Arch is going to go back to college for another year, do you think that Archie was maybe reading an article and he just assumed that Arch said that, and then therefore that's why he said what he said?
No.
Because why would the grandfather call and apologize for it? He's like, he didn't know where he saw that.
I bet you he called to apologize, not for giving information that was wrong, but for giving information he wasn't supposed to give out.
Okay, that's fair. Now,
that family is very close, especially the whole quarterback brothers and everything.
Yeah.
Like, they talk about this stuff, and they get each other's advice all the time. There's no doubt.
Eli has been opinionated on some things. Like when he joined at the Super Bowl 2 years ago, he made it clear that Arch wasn't going to transfer. But anyway, the march for Arch, it may not happen this year, but at least it's on. We're at least marching. We don't know when we're going to hit the end line, but we can now start officially marching because there is a chance that Arch leaves after this season. So Field Yates, who's one of the best mock draft guys in the business, he released a mock draft, and he has Arch Manning going number 1 overall to the Cleveland Browns. The two fan bases that I think are the most excited right now for Arch Manning and the possibility of him are the New Orleans Saints, right, which have ties with the Manning family, and then also the Cleveland Browns. Those would be the two who I think can say we want him and also could be bad enough this year to get the number 1 overall pick because who knows who's starting for the Saints this year, and the Browns are going to start like 7,000 quarterbacks. So let me just ask you, who else do we throw in that conversation? Like, just real quickly, because I know we're limited on time. I'll give you the division. Who do you think is going to be the worst team in the division this year? AFC East, Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, Jets. Stu, who do you think is going to be the worst team?
Jets.
Samter.
Jets.
And Jets. I agree. I think the Jets are in the mix. AFC West, Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers.
Raiders.
Yeah, I guess Raiders, but they're not going to be that bad. I think they'll be a lot better.
I would say Raiders, but I don't think the Raiders are going to be top 5 bad. AFC North, Ravens, Bengals, Browns, Steelers.
Browns.
Come on, Stu. 1, 2, 3, everybody. Browns.
Steelers.
Oh,
what? I'm a contrarian? I've heard of that.
You're not being serious, correct?
No.
Okay, just making sure. I have to ask. AFC South, Texans, Colts, Jaguars, Titans. Who do you think is going to be the worst, Stu?
Colts.
Ooh.
You know what? I think I'm going to do the same. I think Cam Ward's going to be really good, and the Titans are going to surprise. I'm going to go Colts.
Okay. I'm going to say that it is Tennessee, even though I think Cam Ward will play well. But if it is the Colts, they do need a quarterback. So that makes it fascinating. And some guy named Peyton Manning did play for the Indianapolis
And the Titans,
Colts.
even if they are bad, the Colts can still be a top 5 pick, and the Titans won't pick a quarterback. So
yeah, that's true as well. Cowboys, Giants, Eagles, Commanders.
Giants.
Yeah, I would say Giants, but they just drafted Jackson Dart in the first round. Cardinals, Rams, 49ers, Seahawks.
Cardinals.
I would lean Cardinals as well, but I don't think they're going to be top 5 bad. NFC North, none of those teams are going to be needing quarterbacks, so it doesn't really matter. NFC South, Falcons, Panthers, Saints, Bucks. Everyone's on the Saints?
Yeah.
And then how about on the North? Who do you think is going to be the worst team, Stu?
Vikings.
Ooh, Samter?
Same.
All right, I'm going with the Bears. It is the Zach Gelb Show, but once again, they're going to keep Caleb Williams. Zach Gelb Show, Infinity Sports Network. Mark Schlereth will join us next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Infinity and beyond.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show.
All right, hour number 2 of our radio program. It is the Zach Gelb Show, coast to coast on the Infinity Sports Network. Let's welcome in a 3-time Super Bowl champion who's here today on behalf of Renegade Fantasy. Download Renegade Fantasy from the App Store and Google Play today. Cash prizes are available in Mark's Stinkin' Truth Fantasy Showdown League. And that, of course, is our pal, Mark Schlereth. Mark, always great to have you on. How you been?
I've been great, Zach. Thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Well, let me start you off with the Broncos, a team that you played for many years, and I know that you do a talk show still in the Denver area. A sexy take this summer has kind of been, okay, the Broncos are going to go win the AFC West. I still think it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs, but how far are you willing to go with the Broncos this season?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's going to be much tighter division, right? Both, I think Kansas City is obviously what they've done. They're outstanding. I think the Chargers are a really good football team. I think there's a lot of excitement talking to, the head coach and Sean Payton, talking to the owner of the franchise, Greg Penner. I mean, they're like the difference between last year and this year is last year we hope we were going to be good. This year we know we are good. Defensively, not only were they great last year, but they added to that defense. First round pick at the cornerback with Barron. They went out and got Hufanga at the safety position, who's an outstanding player. Drake Greenlaw is one of the best players in football if healthy. Obviously, the last couple of years, he tore his Achilles in the Super Bowl against Kansas City when he played for San Francisco. Last year, only played a handful of games, but that guy's looked really good in camp. And bottom line is they've tried to really fix their run game. And I think R.J. Harvey's going to be a big-time player for them. Went out and got a tight end in free agency. I'm telling you, there's a lot of excitement. And we'll see exactly how the growing pains of a second-year quarterback, come out. But bottom line is I think there's a lot of excitement. And I'm telling you right now, I've been at camp every day. This roster is deep. Their backups can really play. So there's great competition within the organization as well.
You just brought it up. You also played for both organizations. Like last year, what Jaden Daniels did was remarkable. Bo Nix exceeded all expectations that I had, but there is that year two jump. Like you look at CJ Stroud, phenomenal year one. Sure, his offensive line wasn't great in year two. There was a bunch of injuries. He still won a playoff game, but people weren't as high on CJ Stroud in year two that they were in year one. Is there a great fear for either quarterback in Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels that there will be some regression this year?
I don't necessarily think so. I mean, obviously you try to pile more, you try to build off the foundation that you built the year before. There's continuity from a play calling standpoint, from an offensive coaching standpoint for both of those guys. Then they've upgraded. In Washington, they upgraded the left tackle position. So in Washington, they've upgraded. In Denver, they've upgraded. They feel really good about their two backs, Dobbins. They feel really good about R.J. Harvey. So, they've upgraded. They went out and got Evan Ingram at the tight end position. They have not had a tight end that really has produced from just a pure catches and yardage standpoint in quite some time. So, I think they feel really good about what they've got. And, the interesting thing, just sitting there talking to Sean Payton about culture, talking about what he's trying to build, one of the biggest things is they got rid of some popular players, some veteran players that they thought were on the downside, and they thought that just didn't fit into what they were trying to build, and and let those guys go. And so they're really happy with the young guys. A lot of people in Denver thought, well, their wide receiving core really young, they're really inexperienced, other than Cortland Sutton. And the Broncos coaches just were like, we've got the right guys in here. We've got the right, makeup of guys. So it's really cool to watch it. And they've looked really good in camp. I'm telling you, really good in camp.
Mark Schlereth here with us on behalf of Renegade Fantasy. We'll talk more about it in just a bit. The Colts yesterday, they announced that Daniel Jones is going to be their starting quarterback. Anthony Richardson put in the number 2 spot. How did you kind of process that decision by Shane Steichen and company?
Well, I mean, you're trying to compete in that division. And, I always say this. I talked about it on my podcast on YouTube, the Stinking Truth podcast. Listen, Anthony Richardson so far hasn't been worth a squirt of piss. And ultimately, you look at that's what happens when you draft athletes, right? When you draft off of athleticism and your ability to jump over boxes and run fast, because that's not how football is played. And I say it all the time. Football is easy for football players. It's really hard for athletes. And to take a guy that's exceptionally athletic, draft him 4th overall, and think that all of a sudden you're going to make him a quarterback who played, 13 games in college? It's just foolhardy. It's just absolutely stupid. It's one of those things where you're selling hope to your fan base. You're selling athleticism to your fan base. That's not what wins in the National Football League. It just flat doesn't. So it doesn't surprise me. I've done a ton of Daniel Jones games. Remember the breakout year that Daniel Jones had? He had 15 touchdowns versus 5 interceptions. Now, he ran the ball exceptionally well, and they did a ton of quarterback design runs, and he really excels in that aspect of the game. But, this is kind of the lesser of two evils. The one guy that really gives you a chance to win right now, or gives you the best chance to win right now, is Daniel Jones. So I understand why they made the decision.
Mark Schlereth here with us. I remember when you did that show, Breakfast Ball, with Danny Parkins and Craig Carden, there would be all this talk about the Bears quarterback situation, the Jets quarterback situation, right? You actually ended up being the winner with what happened with Bo Nix last year, but now everyone's back in on the Bears after one preseason. I think it's a little bit too much to be saying already they're going to be a team that figured out their quarterback and their head coach. I understand the excitement with Ben Johnson, but when you look at the Bears with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, what do you expect out of them this year?
Well, I expect them to be better. I don't know that they're going to win that division. That division is really interesting to me, right? With Green Bay and Minnesota and Detroit, all of them have had some issues, right? The thumb injury to Jordan Love, the loss of coordinators in Detroit, new quarterback in Minnesota. It's really hard to handicap that division, but certainly fourth place seems to be the Chicago Bears. But I think they'll be better. You know, I talked to Ben Johnson about a month and a half ago, just about the offensive line, what they've done, the way they've addressed it. I think the guy's a phenomenal play caller. I think he does a great job of setting you up in long yardage situations with great run where you get really good looks. You get favorable boxes where you can get big-time chunk yardage, put yourself in third down and short, put yourself in fourth down and short. He does a great job not only designing of the trick plays, but actually running them. Like, we all designed them. When I played, we designed them. Every week we had trick plays in. We never ran the damn things, but we always had them in. And so he always runs them, which keeps you engaged, man. It keeps you excited about what they're doing. Really interesting, though, Zach. So I'm talking to Sean Payton about just quarterbacks in general. And I've had this theory for a long time that quarterback sacks are a quarterback-driven statistic more than they are an offensive line-driven statistic. And Caleb took 68 sacks last year. And Sean said before he drafted Bo Nix, and this is one of the things that sold him on Bo Nix, he did this extensive breakdown with their analytics department and said, hey, find me a quarterback in college football that took a lot of sacks in college football and didn't take sacks in the NFL. And they did a 2-day study and couldn't come up with one quarterback that took a ton of sacks in college that didn't take a ton of sacks in the NFL. And really interesting because they also did a study, same type of study, backs that fumbled a lot in college that fixed that issue in professional football. And there were tons of backs that no longer fumbled when they got into professional football because it got coached out of them. And so sacks become one of these really interesting things. You can't overcome them. And Caleb took 68 last year. And one of the big issues I had with him coming out of college when I studied the film, because I was really kind of digging into, because I live in Denver, I was digging in to all the quarterbacks. And he played off schedule so much. And he played off schedule when he didn't need to play off schedule. And that's a concern because that's when you take sacks. In the NFL, man, you've got to be on schedule. And it's really funny. I'm talking to Byron Leftwich. I'm doing a Tampa Bay game when Tom Brady was a quarterback. And I said, what's impressed you about Tom Brady? What's been the most kind of remarkable thing? And he goes, if we're running like drag slant and that drag is the first read in the progression and it's opened, Tom Brady will take it 100 out of 100 times without equivocation. It'll be a 4 or 5, 6 yard gain and we'll start at 2nd down and 5 or 2nd down and 4. And he goes, most quarterbacks want to get to the next thing, want to make a big play, see if a slant can take it 80, right? And he goes, just not Tom Brady. All he's going to do is do exactly what he's coached to do. And if that first read is open, it's a 4-yard gain, he's taking it. And guys that play on schedule understand that. Guys that play on schedule in the NFL win football games. And one of the things I've always said, I created this I call it the 70-30 rule. 70% of the time on offense, we're on schedule, right? We hand the ball off on first down. It's 2nd down and 6, right? We got 4 yards. Now we're in perfect position to run anything we want to run in our playbook. And 30% of the time, things are going to break down. Your quarterback's got to make a play. But when you just walk away from, being on schedule to go do something, go freelance, especially with the defensive ends in this league that run 4-4, sorry, you're going down, you're getting sacked, you're getting beat up, you're fumbling. Like you may create one big play or 2 big plays, but you give up 4 bad plays. It's one of the things that I think Kyler Murray struggles with in Arizona. And you see a lot of quarterbacks, and they just can't quite figure it out. It's because they want to have the spectacular. And boring is what wins. Like, boring wins football games from the quarterback position and offensively. And unfortunately, guys that can't understand that want a playoff schedule more, usually end up taking a bunch of sacks and usually end up struggling.
You know, with all that you just said, right, Byron Leftwich, you mentioned him with Brady. Leftwich is now on the Colorado coaching staff, and a quarterback that's taken a ton of sacks the last few years was Shedeur Sanders. Now Shedeur is thrown in this whole situation where somehow Joe Flacco is the healthiest out of all these quarterbacks, and he's going to be the starting quarterback. But when we get to Shedeur, when you also have Dylan Gabriel in that room, maybe Kenny Pickett still makes the roster. Do you think it's just inevitable that at some point this year, if Shedeur fights through and is fine with this oblique injury and health isn't a problem, that Shedeur at some point will see the field in Cleveland as a starting quarterback?
Yeah, I think that he probably will. I mean, at this point, I can't imagine Joe Flacco being the starter for 17 games. I can't imagine that happening.
Especially the first 6 games are brutal. Brutal for the Browns.
So 40-year-old Joe Flacco, hold down the fort for a while. Somebody else is going to be playing. And Shedeur's played well. When he came out, it was really interesting because I actually helped out with spring ball up at CU with Dion. I live in Denver, and Dion's a buddy, and I've known him for, forever. And so went up there and helped out with their offensive line and did some things, in that regard. And the one thing about Shedeur, some of the criticisms, lack of arm talent, lack of overall athleticism, took too many sacks, and the whole narrative on Shedeur. Man, that dude is accurate, and that dude, now he did pull the ball sometimes to try to create big plays. That was part of what they did as an offense and part of the freedom that they gave him. And so we'll see if he can correct those issues. But accuracy was like he was on point with accuracy. Arm strength is probably the most overrated thing I ever hear every year. Arm talent. This guy throws it 70 yards. Well, I mean, other than the 2 times a year you throw a Hail Mary, when do you ever throw it 70 yards in the air? You don't. It just doesn't work that way. So that becomes a real issue. By the way, to throw the ball accurately, you've got to be on time. And to be on time, you've got to understand the offense. You've got to be able to process the offense. You throw the ball with your feet. So if your feet aren't on time, your arm is always going to lag behind. And so the great quarterbacks have an ability to be on time and therefore throw the ball accurately. When you're late and you don't understand what you're seeing, you will never be accurate with the football. It just doesn't happen that way. So one thing about him, man, he was extremely accurate over the course of his career. Listen, whatever happened in the pre-draft process and not being prepared or whatever the narrative is, I think he can play. I really do.
Wrap it up with Mark Schlereth. Tell me what you're doing today with Renegade Fantasy and this whole fantasy league that you got going on.
Yeah, pretty cool, man. This is really cool. We've got patents on the technology. We're the only league that you can actually sub players mid-game.
Wow.
So you can take your player, your quarterback's not performing. It's no longer you don't have the right anymore to dog cuss your players. Your player's not performing. He's not getting catches. He's not making a play, or he gets hurt. Dump him. Start your backup. Start the other guy. So that's what's going on right now at Renegade Fantasy. You can check it out, markschlereth.renegadefantasy.com. Sign up for my league. And by the way, if you win the entirety of the league, meaning you have the most points at the end of the year with all the different teams that are playing, and there'll be tons of different teams playing in this thing, you're going to win $5,000, a bunch of other prizes as well. So Renegade Fantasy, the only fantasy that allows you to switch players mid-game. Your guy's not performing. It's no longer his fault. It's your fault. You're the coach. Switch him out.
Cool stuff. Once again, download Renegade Fantasy from the App Store and Google Play today. Cash prizes are available in Mark's Stinkin' Truth Fantasy Showdown League. One last thing, and I'll end you on this, Mark Schlereth, the 3-time Super Bowl champion. I understand, right, C.J. Stroud was a 2nd overall pick, Jaden Daniels 2nd overall pick. They took those teams outhouse to penthouse immediately. You saw Bo Nix play right away in Denver last year. Drake May didn't have to wait long before he got on the field in New England. I look at the Giants. I live here in New York. Russell Wilson, to me, at this stage of his career, is average, above average at best. Are the Giants making a mistake in not playing Jackson Dart week 1?
Yes. 100%. I mean, why wait? You know what Russell Wilson is. You know what he does well. He throws the deep ball as well as anybody, and then he throws it outside the numbers. He doesn't throw it in the middle of the football field, never really has, takes way too many sacks, has always taken a ton of sacks. Like, ultimately, to me, the future's now go with the growing pains. Understand there's going to be growing pains along the way, but if he develops like what happened in Denver last year, you've solved your quarterback issue. Like, this is one of the biggest no-brainers in the world to me. So that's the guy I would start, but that's me.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. I have no interest in seeing Russell Wilson at this stage of his career.
I don't either. I'm with you, Zach, 100%. Lockstep, buddy.
You got it. Mark, appreciate it. Be well, my friend.
You too. Take care.
There you go. Mark Schlereth joining us on the show. Always enjoy his football acumen when he stops by with us. We'll take a break. We had a great conversation with Mark. Ryan Hot Take Hickey, I don't know if it's going to go that way because he had a lot of crazy takes about Anthony Richardson, and he was wrong about all of them. So Ryan Hot Take Hickey makes his triumphant return to the Zach Gelb Show next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The piping hot takes of Ryan Hot Take Hickey do not, I repeat, do not reflect the views of the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network.
It's Hickey at night Sunday, I'm combing our hair with moose gel and spray. The takes are so hot, hot, hot. Sometimes it's right, usually not. This best segment is coming up next, but you better watch out for the Hickey head. Hot takes and hair gel on a Sunday night. Hickey's dropping takes that probably aren't right. Dropping a teaser for what's coming up next, but you better watch out for the Hickey heads. Talking Penn State while Stu's smoking kush, but Hickey is always the number one rush. You will nicer and moist, might get more sober than Stu. We only joke of us, we like you, but I have to ask, is it true? Is your hair held together by pace and loop? Oh, Hickey's takes are coming up next, but you better watch out for the Hickey heads.
The Hot Take Hickey makes his triumphant return to the Zach Gelb Show. And we may want to have him on today because he was the biggest supporter of Anthony Richardson. And Anthony Richardson wasn't named the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts yesterday. It was Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones. Do you feel like your football season is already over even before it got started?
Yes, I'll say this. So
Colts,
obviously,
lock them up, going to the playoffs.
Living here in New York City, I do not get the Colts games on local TV. I probably will spend the money to get Sunday ticket. I probably will.
It's expensive. I just paid mine for
it. It is expensive. It's not cheap.
$500-something.
Which is why I'm sitting here debating, is it worth it?
Are you a fraud fan?
I don't want to watch. I hate Daniel Jones. Right now in this current iteration of the NFL, Daniel Jones is the quarterback I hate the most. I don't want to watch him. I do not want to watch him play. I do not want to spend money to watch him stink.
You know what's ironic? And we've now done this for many years. Like, I'm actually getting exhausted celebrating in your frustration and you just being constantly wrong. I did go to the training that you guys issued, that edict to me. And I did the training to be nicer and kinder to you.
Thank you.
So I'm actually thinking for you in this. But memory, just going down the rabbit hole. Like, you were fine with Carson Wentz. You were fine with Matt Ryan.
Yes.
The guy that you vehemently opposed was Phillip Rivers.
That's right.
Since Andrew Luck quit on the team, retired. Since Andrew Luck retired, the best quarterback for the Colts has been Phillip Rivers.
That's right. The guy I was wanting to bench for weeks at the time.
Also, your general manager, Chris Ballard, who I told you years ago was overrated. Since Phillip Rivers hasn't been on the team, they have not made the playoffs, and they're 30-37. Now, you look at this roster this year, you have Jonathan Taylor, you have Michael Pittman Jr., you have Alec Pierce, you have Tyler Warren. Like, there's some names there. A.D. Mitchell, Adonai Mitchell, who you were like, oh, he's going to be great, he's going to be wonderful. Do we have the A.D. Mitchell, just the A.D. Mitchell clip somewhere? Where you were in the break saying, like, hike, AR to AD
That's right.
all day. Watch out come week one.
That's
Do you know how
right.
many touchdowns he had last year?
1 or 0?
Yeah.
He was very inconsistent.
So, just horrible. If we have it, go ahead. Play that part one more time.
All right. Colts just made a selection. A.D. Mitchell out of Texas. I think this is a really good move for AR. I'm not ready to wait till September to see this connection go. So let's give you a little sneak peek right now. AR to AD. Ready for it? Hey. Looks. Drops back. Oh, he's telling him. He's telling him, go deep. Go deep. Deep shot. AD. Oh, he got it. Touchdown. Woo. Give me that. AR to AD. You'll see it early and often in 2024. He's a playmaker, touchdown getter. Let's go! Pray for defenses in 2024.
17 games the dude didn't have a touchdown. I think you should just stop with the predictions.
Praying for Anthony Richardson after that season.
You sound a little tired in that video. Did you tap yourself out for the rest of the show afterwards?
Should have tapped myself out of the season last year.
So the Colts will do what this year?
Realistically, probably go 7-10, maybe 8-9. Best case scenario, 9-8 for them. Be in the playoff mix. And my fear is, if that comes true, they convince themselves, delude themselves into thinking, Daniel Jones, we could have something here. Let's give him another year and see what we got.
Boy.
That's why I don't want him to play, because Daniel Jones is good enough, like with the Giants, for 1 year to fool you into thinking, hey, look, maybe it's the Giants' fault. Maybe there's something here, another year in the system, good weapons, one more piece around him, and we could go and compete for a playoff spot. No.
All right, just give me win-loss. Miami, week 1.
I'll probably say win. I don't trust the Dolphins.
Denver, week 2.
Loss.
At Tennessee, week 3.
They stink. I'll probably say win.
At the Rams, week 4.
Loss. And that's with even if Jimmy G plays.
Rams. Raiders.
I feel like they're similar. Where's that game? I'll say the home team wins.
Okay, that would be Indianapolis.
Okay.
Cardinals.
Win.
At the Chargers.
Loss.
Tennessee. You'll beat them twice?
I think so. Tennessee stinks.
Tennessee's got to get a victory up against you guys. At Pittsburgh.
Oh, gosh. I'll probably say loss.
Falcons, not in the U.S.
Oh, that's right. Germany.
You going to go Germany for that game?
I will not be going to that game. We'll say, I like Michael Penix. I'll say loss.
At the Chiefs.
You know,
you guys do well up against the Chiefs.
I was just going to say, they own Patrick Mahomes in the regular season. Mahomes is 0-2 against him in the regular season. That'll change. They probably lose that game. But watch, that's the
Texans.
Loss.
At the Jaguars.
Oh, that's a loss.
At Seattle.
I'll say loss.
San Francisco.
Loss.
Jaguars.
Win. I think they split.
Texans. At the Texans.
It could be a game Texans sit. I'll say loss. I think they get swept.
So you only had 6 wins right there.
Okay.
That puts you in, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is the fact that Arch Manning, right, his grandfather Archie Manning goes, my grandson's going back to college after this year. Forget the NFL right now. We're not entertaining it. And then Arch Manning goes, I don't know where Grandpa got that from. I'm taking this day by day. So I think the first 2 teams I think of for Arch Manning, if he was going to go in the draft next year, the Saints and the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of think the Colts with 6 wins could be in that strike?
I hope so. Look, that's part of the reason why I'd rather see Anthony Richardson, because I think his ceiling is way higher, but his floor is also way lower. If you play Daniel Jones 17 games, you're not winning 4 games. You're not winning 5 games. It's going to need to be in that mix. He's going to get you 6-7 wins. That's the problem, because you're going to be picking at that point, what is that, 10, 12? I don't want that. Who wants that? It's a terrible spot. I'm not getting Arch Manning at 10.
All righty, college football starts this week.
Yes.
Who's your Heisman Trophy pick?
Cade Klubnik out of Clemson.
Oh, boy. I think Clemson could be really good this year.
They're going to be very good.
And that's the thing. Like, you picking Klubnik, I don't know now. I'm having
is that your Heisman pick? Have you given out your...
I have not yet. I have not given out a national championship game pick.
Okay.
I think I know my national championship game pick, but I'm not ready to reveal it yet.
Okay.
And I have not thought who I'm going to pick to win the Heisman Trophy yet.
Okay.
So I will give that later in the week, because I like to do it before, even though week 1 is the real start of the season to me. I like to do that before week 0 gets underway. So I'll do that tomorrow.
Ranked matchup in Ireland, big game.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think it's going to be a phenomenal game too with Kansas State and Iowa State, especially when you look at Avery Johnson and Rocco Becht. Those are 2 quarterbacks that I'm really excited about.
Oh, yeah?
There's a lot of quarterbacks this year that a lot of people are already claiming they're great, but we still have to see it from them. And that's what makes this season, for me at least, very, very compelling. Like, look, we saw Lenore Sellers play really well for the second half of the season. DJ Lagway, we got to see where his health is, and also he's got to put it together for a full season.
Yep.
Arch Manning, we got to see him play a full season. And, I don't think Cade Klubnik is the best, has the highest potential in college football, but I've seen the most out of him. And even though it hasn't always been good, that's why I do believe, since he's the most reliable right now, that people are saying he's the best quarterback in college football.
And he's in the best situation in terms of putting up numbers where he has top 3 receivers back, strong offensive line. I think Penn State's going to run the ball a lot, so regardless how you feel about Drew Aller, I don't think his stats are going to be
another
prolific.
Guy we haven't seen him get to that level that he's supposed to be at.
But at least there's balance. I think Clemson's going to throw the ball a lot, which is going to bode well for Klubnik in terms of passing yards, touchdowns, which will get him to New York. I think have him raise the trophy. But he's in the best situation of any quarterback in college football in 2025 in terms of returning talent, system, his skill set. If he should put it all together. No reason not to.
It also would be so college football. And I thought I don't have a problem with Travis Hunter winning the Heisman Trophy. I thought Ashton Genty should have won it, though, last year. It would be so college football in where it was so tough for a running back to win the Heisman last year, even when Ashton Genty had an all-time great season, that this is a year where a running back wins the Heisman Trophy.
Comes out of nowhere because there's just so many quarterbacks that are questionable.
Yeah, or the quarterbacks kind of cancel each other out. Jeremiah Love, the health I think is the biggest thing, and I know he has a great number 2 running back, but I'll expect more carries his way. That's a guy that I could see win the Heisman Trophy this year. National championship game prediction. I know where you're going just based off that smirk, but go ahead.
Well, I'll say the loser, the runner-up in that game will be Clemson. I think Dabo gets back to the game for the first time since 2020, and Cade Klubnik really has a big year. They will lose to the 2025 national champions, Big Ten 3 years in a row, Penn State. Lock it up. Marco heard it. You heard it. America heard it. Stu heard it. Samter heard it. This is not new. We've said it now for weeks, months. It's a lock.
Okay. Did you really think I was going to let you get off this easy on the Anthony Richardson stuff?
No, we could please dive in.
You think this has been pretty just nice?
We barely talked about him. Outside of
been kind of lovey-dovey.
It's more Daniel Jones.
I've been respectful, right?
Let's please.
Give me the latest installment of the Hickey Hex.
It's the Hickey Hex.
We're here live at the draft. Instant reaction, Anthony Richardson is a Colt. It's a great day. You want to know why? The Colts just got the quarterback with the highest ceiling in the draft. Let's go. Only one guy's going to be a top 5 quarterback outside of Bryce Young in this draft. It's going to be Anthony Richardson.
Richardson moving left, throwing, intercepted. What a terrible mistake by Richardson, and Tremaine Edmonds has the INT.
Very indecisive. You can see in his eyes that he doesn't quite know what to do, and he makes the wrong decision.
The Colts are Super Bowl contenders for the next 15 years. Lock it up. Let's go.
Anthony, can you explain just you subbing out? Were you hurt? Were you injured? Were you tired?
Man, tired. I ain't gonna lie. That was a lot of running right there. What I did.
So your boy Richardson is getting benched, and you said had the highest ceiling
starting week
out of all those quarterbacks in the draft?
He'll start week 1. He'll start week 1. He'll start week 1. He'll start week 1.
All right, I'll start off by letting everyone know that Daniel Jones will be our starting quarterback this season. He's our starting quarterback for the season. I don't want to have a quick leash on that. I feel confident in his abilities.
Let's go. Only one guy's going to be a top 5 quarterback outside of Bryce Young in this draft. It's going to be Anthony Richardson.
What a terrible mistake by Richardson. What a terrible mistake by Richardson. What a terrible mistake by Richardson.
Tired. I ain't gonna lie. Tired. I ain't gonna lie. Tired. I ain't gonna lie.
The Colts are Super Bowl contenders for the next 15 years. Lock it up. Let's go.
Hot Take Hickey strikes again.
What do you have to say for yourself?
I was wrong. Can I say? I was wrong. Chris Ballard was wrong. Anthony Richardson himself was wrong. I'm the least culpable of the 3.
You're even getting Marco Belletti laughing. I've never seen Marco Belletti with a smile like this and laughing. Marco is crying right now. So
what do you want me to say?
One more thing. My favorite part about Anthony Richardson, my favorite part about Anthony Richardson getting benched is that Michael Silver, who is a respected NFL journalist, has been around forever. Michael Silver had a tweet that you sent to him What you were responding, it was quarterbacks on March 1st that aren't going to be the opening day starter teams in the Colts. And you went through like 13 quarterbacks. And you're saying, unless they trade for one of those guys, Anthony Richardson is going to be starting week 1. The moment that it's announced that Anthony Richardson won't be starting, Michael Silver, boom, roasted and responds to you. Nice call, pal.
I respect it. Look, I respect the pettiness. I responded. I was snarky. Not really snarky, but I tried to put his report down. I thought it was an insane report. Mm-hmm. He was right. I was wrong. Okay, and I respect the game. To the victor go the spoils. I would do the same thing if roles were reversed. Good for him.
Okay. Marco, I've never seen you this happy, honestly.
No, not happy. Just funny. The way that came out, it was basically, you sentenced somebody to death. You shot him 17 times. It turns out he didn't do it. Well, I was wrong. What can I tell you? I mean, you're going to do.
Well, yeah.
Sometimes you make mistakes.
Look, I liked what I said in the tweet. I know we played the audio, but what I tweeted was the Colts bought a lottery ticket. Now I was hoping the lottery ticket was going to be the Mega Millions. It ended up just being a big loser.
Yeah,
they took a shot. They took a chance.
Did you see what Mike Shula is doing at South Carolina?
No.
So Mike Shula, we maybe should implement this around here. So the new offensive coordinator at South Carolina, anytime he's watching film with his quarterbacks,
okay,
and they don't do something that he likes, he makes them run into his office, and on his desk is like fake poop. And he makes them bring the fake poop into the facility, and he goes basically telling the players that you're playing like hit. All right?
Crap.
I think for your predictions from now on, anytime there's a bad prediction, I will have in my desk a little pile of poop, and you'll run in and you'll bring it in. You'll have to grab
a lot of going back and forth.
Yeah,
at least for
burn
some
a lot
people.
of calories.
A lot of some people think.
You don't have to do any cardio.
That's true.
That'll take care of your cardio. How's things going in the Engage life? Just wondering. Have you been starting to construct the list?
No, we've not even
invited?
thought about, let alone looked at a venue.
I'm just saying, Marco would look good in a tuxedo.
You would look good, Marco.
Right?
Why am I in a tux now?
Would you go to Hickey's wedding?
I would go. Why am I in a tux now?
I don't know. I just feel like
black tie.
You're having a black tie wedding?
In July. How about that?
You're having a black tie wedding?
No, but
I was a little surprised by that.
You said
I was wrong.
Marco
What can
in
I
a
tell you?
tuxedo. I would never. You only wear a tuxedo to a wedding unless it's a black tie wedding.
Maybe get a nice flannel for Marco. That's about it, and a Yankee hat.
I could probably swing a good flannel for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could probably swing a good one.
Is it like in like dry cleaning shrink wrap right now, like ready for a big occasion?
No. I might even actually go and buy a new one just for that. I might.
New Yankee hat too?
If you want.
Okay.
I mean.
Okay. Look, I'll listen.
Your day, I would let you call that.
I don't care. You can wear whatever you want. I don't care.
My wife actually, unbeknownst to me, had all of the people working at the venue at our wedding have the Yankee cap on.
Oh,
I was unaware of that. So, like, you went to go get your drinks, bartender was wearing a Yankee hat.
That's actually very cute.
That's actually cool.
So this has been a thing, by the I mean, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You've worn that hat I've known you now for basically a
Not
decade.
this particular hat.
No,
this
but
hat's a year old.
But right,
that's only a year old?
You wear it every day.
Wow.
When did you start wearing a hat every single day?
10th grade.
Oh, okay.
That was when they allowed it to wear hats in school. When I went to a different school in 10th grade, I walked in. I was like, "You let wear hats? That's it."
I know you don't care what other people think about you, but every time you fill in on this show, the YouTube chat destroys you for this Yankee. They're like, "Get that ugly hat. Tell him to get that ugly hat off his head." Yeah, I know you don't care. But
No, not even a little bit.
It's going to wear you even harder now.
And this is a nice show, which is why I won't say what I want to say. But yeah, you can bring that. You can keep that coming. I don't care.
Yeah. Last thing, a source told me this. I just have to run it by you.
Sources.
I've heard there's been an early lead for someone that's going to be officiating your wedding and who's going to be the officiant. I told that you are leaning towards selecting Pete the Body Bilotti to host the ceremony.
He's a man of few. I mean, I'll tell you this: the ceremony will be quick. He does not say a lot of words. I don't know how Pete is.
You know, I think would be great at that.
Do you? Good. Get out of here.
Okay.
You know, I think would be great at that actually at officiating wedding, and I've done it once. But I think the best person would actually be Shep. Could you imagine Shep officiating your wedding? I think he'd be
no, because it would take 4 days.
It's great. They're great. Let me tell you how great they are.
And then he's pointing out everybody in the, like 250 people, and then this one, and Jim, and then Joe. No.
And Hickey's parents, they did a great job.
No.
Can I tell you what one of my favorite bits are on the radio right now to like just listen to? It's actually Shep, who we need to get him back up and streaming on YouTube. Whenever someone dies, Shep is like the death guy. there's always a great Shep gives you like a 15-minute great eulogy. So like I think weddings or eulogies at funeral, like Shep would be elite. He's an elite death guy.
I'll say this: record it, and I'll play it like at 2x speed, so we can kind of go through. I don't want to shortchange him. And like you said, he does a lot of homework and he has a lot of praise. But I don't.
I kind of used that to listen to Bill the other day. Nothing against Bill, but I had a few listeners reach out to me, and they said you were taking a shot at Stu the other day. So I used it like sped up to try to find it. You said you would never want to be compared to Stu. What was that about? Never want to be compared to Stu. I thought you were a good teammate.
Well, look at Stu.
Ooh,
guy's a soccer.
Nice.
Wow. I'm not saying physically.
Soccer.
I'm not saying physically.
Ooh. Hey, ask him who won the semifinal in college football this year.
Please don't.
That was a fun day.
Yeah. All righty. We will take a time out in the Zach Gelb Show, the Infinity Sports Network. Nothing you want to speak for anything there in terms of like why you just are being mean to Stu.
Well, Stu and I have a fun back and forth relationship. Okay. Stu takes shots. I take shots. Stu's a bandwagon soccer fan. That's not my style.
Here we go.
Here we go.
You're not even a soccer fan at all. What do you mean it's not your style?
It's not my style. I'm not a bandwagon guy.
Okay.
You guys are both Notre Dame fans, though, right? No?
No. Stu's a Duke fan. Liverpool, Yankees, Lakers.
He didn't even give you
the box.
time of day on the response to that.
It's all right. I'm still laughing over. He's over the dead body, 17 holes in it. I made a mistake. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
I mean, I was wrong.
Shep gave the eulogy.
What can you do?
We'll take a
Not
break.
much to say.
We'll come on back.
The Hickey Hack said it all there.
All righty. Matt Leinart put Lincoln Riley on the hot seat. We'll get to that when we return. Update time first. Here's El Capitan, Marco Belletti.
Infinity Sports Network. Sports Flash.
Zach, bit of a scared Ravens camp. Lamar Jackson left 40 minutes early, got stepped on, knocked to the ground. Luckily, Jackson came out okay. Steelers, of course, now in the hands of Aaron Rodgers. Process took plenty of time in the offseason, left plenty a bit frustrated. That include Cam Hayward in March. So now that the two are teammates, any ill will?
Well, I have to apologize. I guess my words were taken out of context when I asked you, or when I said if you want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Now, how did you feel about that?
I was hurt. Yeah, I was hurt. You didn't reach out. And you just wanted to make a statement in the media. You had a preconceived notion of who I was, obviously.
I did.
And how has that changed over the past few months?
It's been good.
That courtesy of the Not Just Football podcast for Hayward, still waiting for a new contract, but has returned to practice. Falcons tackle Caleb McGarry carted off the practice field an apparent leg injury, set for an MRI. Bears locked up their backup quarterback in Tyson Bagent at a 2-year deal at $10 million. One game ongoing in baseball. The Guardians lead the Diamondbacks 2-1 during the fifth. Some finals. The Phillies dismissed the Mariners 11-2. Kyle Schwarber went deep his 45th. He knocked in 5. Pirates double the Blue Jays 2-1, and the Tigers roll the Astros 7-2. I'm Marco Belletti.
Hey, like us on Facebook. Our handle is INF Sportsnet. That's INF Sportsnet for our Facebook page. This is the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You're listening to the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network.
All righty, Zach Gelb Show, Infinity Sports Network. So they are allowing beer to be sold at Nebraska. So at Memorial Stadium, you could sell beer now, right? You can get it from the concession stands. So Sean Callahan, who covers the Nebraska football team for Husker Online and also On 3 Sports, he has issued how many beers, or he has released how many beers are going to be available each and every game. So the seating capacity is 85,458. Let's go around the room here and take a guess. How many tall boys do you think will be available at each and every game inside the stadium? Stu, you go first.
Let's go with 50,000.
50,000. That wouldn't even be a beer person. Just saying.
No, it wouldn't be.
85,458 people. So you want to take another guess?
All right, let's go with 200,000.
All right, that's, I think, a little bit too much, but okay.
I mean, you're ripping his call whatever he says.
Not every person needs a beer, right? There's a lot of kids that go to these games. People
That's
that
why I
aren't
thought
of
50
age.
would be
That's why 50 sounded like a good deal.
I was just trying to help Stu out there.
Let's go 110.
121,000 total.
See, that's exactly what I said.
Look at that. That's something. All righty. Let me play you. This is Andy Staples from On 3, I believe. He was with myself and Maggie Gray last week on Maggie and Perloff when I was filling in for Andrew Perloff. And I think that this is a big year for USC. I don't think it's crazy to say that. Andy disagreed. Listen up. USC is on this list, and we know how great the brand is of USC. But current day USC, right now, Lincoln Riley, this is a massive year for him. What are your expectations for him for this upcoming season?
This is not a massive year for him. He has a buyout that is too expensive to do anything about. And if he goes 7-5, nobody cares. Nobody's firing him. They have a huge recruiting class coming in 2026. So, look, they're probably going to be an average Big Ten team this year. If they're above average, that's good. That's probably better than they're expecting. And they've got a big class coming in next year. They like the guys they brought in this year. They have a quarterback named Husan Longstreet, who's a freshman, who he's not slated to start right now, but I wouldn't be shocked if he winds up starting by the end of the season. And so I think their arrow is kind of pointing toward the future. Right now, I don't know that they're good enough on both lines of scrimmage to be competitive at the top of the Big Ten this year.
So it could still be a massive year, and also the coach still can't get fired. Like, to me, Lincoln Riley just winning 7 games this year, to say that nobody would care is ridiculous. Now, with that being said, there's a difference in me thinking this is a massive year for Lincoln Riley. And then, I don't know, if someone like Reggie Bush said it, a little bit different. Well, Matt Leinart, who won a Heisman Trophy at USC, he was getting interviewed by The Escapist. And Leinart, when he was doing this interview with that story that was published on Tuesday, reading this via Larry Brown Sports, Leinart said that Lincoln Riley is on the hot seat. I know Lincoln very well, and he is on the hot seat, Leinart said. I think he would tell you that because you have to win there, especially when you win 10 games or 11 games out of the gate. So Matt Leinart thinks that Lincoln Riley's on the hot seat. Now, I was reading from Joel Klatt that the buyout, it's a little unclear what it will be at the end of the season, but it's expected to drop to $70 million. So in all likelihood, Andy's probably right in terms that Lincoln Riley will be back next year. But to not think that this is a massive season, that's where Andy and I just don't agree, which is fine. I also saw a clip of Matt Leinart in the comfort of his own home, and they have an Alexa. And the kid, Matt Leinart's kid, goes, "Alexa, who is Matt Leinart?" And it was like, "Oh, Matt Leinart was a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback who then was a bust in the NFL for the Arizona Cardinals." And Matt Leinart's sitting there just basically eating his cereal or having his oatmeal or his fruit, whatever he was having. And he looked and he goes, "Oh, that's real nice." It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. We'll come on back. Anthony Richardson benched in Indy. Will be QB2 to start the season. Anthony Richardson's agent did speak, didn't do his quarterback any favors and his client any favors, but is there some merit to this idea that maybe Anthony Richardson's going to be off the Colts, and if so, where should he go? Talk about that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
To infinity and beyond.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show. Here's your host, Zach Gelb.
I will praise Anthony Richardson, hour number 3 of our radio program. It is the Zach Gelb Show, coast to coast on the Infinity Sports Network. So yesterday, Anthony Richardson got crummy news. He got news that wasn't the news that he wanted, which was, okay, you're going to be quarterback number 2 here to start the season, and Daniel Jones is going to be the starting quarterback. So news that's not easy to receive. I don't think anyone faults Anthony Richardson for being disappointed and being upset by the news. You should be. Like, for example, I think we could all be professionals and we could all respect the decision If a boss comes to you and says, hey, we're going to move you here, you may not like the move, but you either have to make a decision to make, or you're going to be a professional about it, or you're going to be a malcontent. So Anthony Richardson, I thought he did an admirable job yesterday in a moment that is not good for him. I'm not even going to say it's a moment that's unfair to him, but in a bad, dark moment for him, Anthony Richardson knows he's not the starting quarterback, where he thought he did everything right in this offseason process, and he thought that he got better. And you would have thought, okay, Anthony Richardson, when you're addressing it, it's going to be very important to him. Like how he addresses it to the media, it's very important. And yesterday, I thought in a tough situation, Anthony Richardson did an admirable job while talking to the media. Acknowledge, yeah, he doesn't like the decision. Yeah, he's upset with the decision, but he has to accept it, and basically kind of echoed the message that Dwight Freeney gave to us yesterday. He's going to have to continue to go through his process, because if his name is called once again, he's got to be ready for it. And he'll get another opportunity. He'll probably get another opportunity this year, because I don't think Daniel Jones is good enough to hold the job for the entirety of the season. And also, Daniel Jones, he has an inkling to get hurt. So this idea that, yes, Daniel Jones, just because Shane Steichen says it, is the starting quarterback for the entirety of the season, number one, if Daniel Jones sucks the first 7 weeks of the season, is he still going to be a starting quarterback? No. Daniel Jones, though, could get hurt in week 3. So there's still an opportunity for Anthony Richardson. So I honestly thought that this story was going to be 24 hours, right? Anthony Richardson gets the news. Daniel Jones is the starter. We reacted to it yesterday. Maybe it'll carry over today. And then, boom, that's it. And you move on until Anthony Richardson gets back on the field. I was a little, though, surprised. And I understand, right? Like, I have an agent. You expect your agent to go to bat for you. You're paying the agent. So you're going to try to control the narrative some way. But I thought Anthony Richardson's agent yesterday speaking, and Anthony Richardson's agent speaking to ESPN, number one, didn't really make sense to me. And number two, it comes off as the agent is trying to use an unfortunate situation for Anthony Richardson to kind of raise his profile and to also have the agent's name be better known now or get in the news cycle. Where if the agent wasn't going to act professional, I don't think that the agent should have talked. So I read this article on ESPN, and I understand that Anthony Richardson, deservedly so, is going to be disappointed. But I don't think Anthony Richardson's agent did his client any favors yesterday. And the agent, when he talked to ESPN, he wondered if the quarterback competition was predetermined, and he also questioned if he could trust the Colts anymore moving forward. So I actually, with the first part, I think it's ridiculous for the agent to say it, but there's a difference in saying something and thinking something. I do believe that this competition was not set up for Anthony Richardson to win. I think the Colts preferred Daniel Jones. Shane Steichen preferred Daniel Jones to be the starting quarterback. That's what I think is the truth of this situation. But for you then to say, oh, it's predetermined, even if you may be right, what good does that do for your client right now in the present day? I don't think it does much. And then you're going to go on to say you can't trust the Colts anymore. I think that's a bad move. And Anthony Richardson's 23. He's a quarterback, whether it's in Indy or not, and I don't think he'll ever be the long-term starting quarterback in Indianapolis. I don't think the guy is really all that good. I said that in the draft process. I didn't see enough in college that made me think that he was worth a fourth overall pick. I understand people, you draft off potential, you draft off the future, but he's never put it together in college or the NFL for a consistent stretch. So I understand you have a job as an agent on a dark day for your client, a down day for your client, to prop up your client, right? And try to spin the narrative in the press. But did the narrative really need to be spun? You got benched. People remember the top-out situation last year. Yeah, you came back from that. You won some games for Indianapolis, but you were never playing at an elite level. You were never playing at a level where I thought to myself, oh, even though I think the Colts should start Anthony Richardson, Like, oh, the Colts have to start Anthony Richardson. So I don't think the agent speaking yesterday was warranted. And it really wasn't warranted when you're going to sit there and be like, oh, it's predetermined. And, oh, I don't know if we could trust the Colts anymore. Because people know this in the league. NFL owners really don't like narratives creative about them. Whether that's right or wrong, that's the truth. Teams don't like pictures painted about them. And when Anthony Richardson, how did Mark Schlereth say it? He hasn't been worth, what was, how did Schlereth say it?
A bucket of piss? Something like that.
Mark Schlereth said Anthony Richardson hasn't been worth a bucket of piss in the NFL. Or even in college. And when that's a thought about you, you know what teams don't want? They don't want a mouthy agent basically accusing them of having a predetermined quarterback competition and the organization not being trustworthy. It's different when Zach Gelb, the talk show host, says, oh, I thought that quarterback competition was set up for Daniel Jones to win. But when you're the agent, you're representing the client. And I don't think the agent of Anthony Richardson represented himself in the right way yesterday. Now, with all that being said, I don't know if Anthony Richardson's going to request a trade. I don't know how he's going to handle it. The agent doesn't give you a feeling of optimism that they're going to handle this the right way. So I now have to play into, if Anthony Richardson does request a trade, number one, should the Colts do it? And then number two, where would be a good landing spot? Number one, I don't think the Colts should trade Anthony Richardson. I don't think he's ever going to be a good quarterback. I obviously don't think he's going to be a great quarterback. But there's still a great chance, regardless of what Shane Steichen said yesterday or not, if it actually happens, that Anthony Richardson's going to get another opportunity this year with the Colts. Now, there's a lot working against him. Number one, he hasn't played well. Number two, if let's say the Colts are really bad and they hand the baton over to Anthony Richardson and he doesn't really save himself, then Shane Steichen, with Jim Irsay no longer alive, maybe they say, okay, Shane Steichen, we're going to get rid of you. Chris Ballard, we're going to get rid of you as well. And is this new regime going to want to keep Anthony Richardson? Probably not. So even if, let's say it goes the other way, where Anthony Richardson comes in for the last 4 games of the season, goes 2-2, and plays well enough, and let's say Shane Steichen's not going to lose his job, does Shane Steichen really trust Anthony Richardson? I don't think so. So either way, even if he gets an opportunity and plays well, I don't believe that Anthony Richardson's going to be the long-term starting quarterback in Indianapolis. And I'll tell you, now a little bit different situation, and Bryce Young has a lot more better play under his belt in college, obviously. Look at where we were with Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. It's a little similar. Where Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers, year one was a disaster. Year two, new coaching staff, Dave Canales, they pulled the hook very early, pulled the rug out underneath him very early, and I thought that was it for Bryce Young. Now, Bryce Young, to his credit, handled everything the right way. I don't remember Bryce Young's agent mouthing off. And if he did, then I'm wrong on that. And Bryce Young, when he got another opportunity, he performed well. And look how the narrative changed from last year to from going where we were this time last year on Bryce Young to where we are now. I still don't know if Bryce Young's the answer in Carolina. The odds are that he probably isn't. But people are optimistic about Bryce Young. And I think how you handle it, and it's ironic that the player handled it well yesterday, but the agent didn't, I think is a big thing. Because if you start to become a distraction, whether that's from you or whether that's from your camp, teams don't want to have an interest in you. But the reality is quarterbacks get second, third, fourth chances in this league. They do. Look at, for example, how long it took Geno Smith to finally get things going in the right direction. Look how long it took Sam Darnold to get things going in the right direction. Heck, I know it's totally different because the guy won a league MVP, right? He won a Super Bowl. But when things ended for Kurt Warner with the New York Giants and they went to Eli Manning, did people think Kurt Warner was a Hall of Famer then? Probably not. Like MVP, Super Bowl champion, been to 2 Super Bowls, really damn great quarterback. But was he going to be a Hall of Famer? No, he goes to Arizona, gets to another Super Bowl, plays a few more good seasons, and boom, gets in the Hall of Fame. So everyone's path is different. But for Anthony Richardson, I don't know if they'll reach, and I don't think he'll reach what people think he's going to do, but he'll get an opportunity maybe in Indianapolis, probably in Indianapolis this year, but long-term probably somewhere else. So just going division by division, give me a team in each division where I think it would be intriguing for them to trade for Anthony Richardson. Let's say Anthony Richardson comes out tomorrow and goes, hey, I don't want to be here. I want to get traded. And the Colts are like, you know what? You don't want to be here. You still have a chance at the end of the year maybe to play, even though regardless of Shane Steichen just said, we're done with you. Let's start the AFC East. Who's the team, Stu, in the AFC East that you think should make a deal for Anthony Richardson?
I think it's the Dolphins, especially with Tua's health concerns.
Samter, AFC East?
I guess I'll go with the Jets.
Imagine Anthony Richardson getting traded to the Jets. Because, hey, we don't know if Justin Fields is going to be able to stick the entire season.
Similar playing styles, too.
Yeah.
Running quarterbacks who are very athletic but not super accurate.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I would lean more with Stu on the Dolphins. I think it's the answers are the Dolphins or the Jets. I would lean more with Stu on the Dolphins because of the injury history of Tua Tagovailoa. And imagine that offense if you put him in there with Tyreek and Jalen Watt. Just a lot of speed on that offense if Devon Achane is ever healthy. AFC North. Who do you think should be a team that trades for Anthony Richardson if he's made available? You have the Ravens, the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Browns.
I actually think the Steelers, because it would at least give them something after Rodgers this year to maybe you have something for your future.
Yeah, well, Howard may not be happy with that one. Samter, who's your AFC North team?
I'm going to go with the Ravens. You have a running quarterback in Lamar. He luckily has avoided getting hurt, but, it feels like an easy kind of mix and match with the way they run that offense.
Can I just ask a question? Is it fair to say that Lamar is a running quarterback? Like, is that disrespectful? I'm just asking. Because he does run the football. But I think his passing is severely underappreciated. Like, I understand he hasn't got the job done in the postseason, but you look at last year, he had 41 touchdowns to 4 interceptions and threw for over 4,100 yards. I think it's an elite dual-threat quarterback is the way that we need to say.
He's definitely getting there, but like his previous years, 3,600 yards, 2,200 yards, 2,800 yards, 2,700 yards, 3,100 yards. So like up until last year, and maybe last year was an anomaly, or maybe at this point in his career, he's becoming more of a passer.
Yeah, 2019, I know he had 3,100 yards throwing, but he also had 36 passing touchdowns. So, but yeah, I'm not saying that Lamar was perfect always throwing the football. I'll be the first one to say it, but I've always thought that Lamar was underappreciated as a thrower of the football. I guess the easy answer would be Cleveland, but do they have space at this point? So my first thought, though, actually were the Ravens, just because of the mobility of Anthony Richardson, where, to Samter's point, if Lamar gets hurt, I think you need more of a running quarterback with the way that they do operate that offense. Keeping it moving, AFC South. Obviously, if the Colts are trading Anthony Richardson, they're probably not going to trade him inside the South, but any of those three teams, do they stand out to you there still?
Probably the Jaguars, because Lawrence has had injuries too, and you have a new coach with Liam Cohen. I think the Jaguars would be kind of interesting for that.
Samter?
Man, I guess the Titans. Just why not?
Mm-hmm. And Will
in
Levis
case
got
Cam
hurt.
doesn't pan out, I don't know.
I don't think it's really. I think it's just one of those spots where it's like, okay, you're relegated to number 2. I would say the Texans, actually. Now, it has nothing to do with my lack of belief in C.J. Stroud. I believe in C.J. Stroud. Their backup quarterback is Davis Mills and Keaton Slovis.
Do not knock Davis Mills.
With this long neck.
That's my guy.
Why is he your guy?
I called him a sleeper before the draft, and
boy.
I thought he was going to be great, and then he ended up not.
Something about the what's in the water with all these producers around here on this network. So I would just think for insurance policy, like if the Texans are going to lose their quarterback, would I rather see Anthony Richardson or Davis Mills? I'd rather see Anthony Richardson. AFC West, Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders.
Definitely the Raiders. Get Aiden O'Connell off my team. He can be Gino's backup.
Get him off my team. Samter?
Raiders probably make the most sense, but I guess I could see the Broncos also. You know, Bo Nix had that first great year, but you can't throw all your eggs in that basket. It's good to have a quality backup.
Jarrett Stidham is their backup right now.
And
another
honestly,
former
he's
Raider
fine.
quarterback.
He's fine.
Do you guys know who because we're talking about the Dolphins. Do you know who the Dolphins backup quarterback is?
Is it still Mike White?
I do not. I don't know where Mike White is, but
no, they brought somebody in.
They did. That's
Was
why
it
I'm
Teddy?
asking.
No, Teddy went somewhere else.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa.
Any ideas? Mike White's with the Buffalo Bills.
I know. My biggest bust from last year, Zach Wilson.
Yep. So there you go. NFC East. Who should bring in Anthony Richardson?
I'm going to say the Eagles. I think he'd be – I know Tanner McKee had the first good preseason game, but I think he'd be a nice kind of insurance policy behind Jalen Hurts.
Samter?
The Giants make sense, but
Do they really?
they have 9 quarterbacks. Let's go.
I don't think they do at all.
Let's go with the Commanders.
And Marcus Mariota's their backup right now. So
Yeah, let's go with the Commanders. Similar running style to Jaden Daniels, just not as good, but both in the SEC. Sure, why not?
Drama. It's the Cowboys. Dak gets hurt a lot. I know they have Joe Milton there who has a bazooka of an arm, but he's never accurate. Imagine Anthony Richardson going there. That would be fun. Just from a drama standpoint. NFC North, Lions, Vikings, Packers, Bears. Who should trade for Anthony Richardson?
I'll go with the Vikings only because we don't know if McCarthy's fully going to be healthy and maybe there's a chance he gets hurt again. I think that would kind of be interesting.
I'm going to go with the Lions. I think the Lions' offense is so creative.
You took my answer, 100%.
Right? Like
you get down to the goal
line,
line,
not as a backup guy.
Exactly. I'm not saying he's going to usurp Jared Goff. Most of these places, we're not saying Anthony Richardson's going to usurp the starting quarterback. But with how creative they are with their offensive linemen, imagine just throwing him down there at the goal line with Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery, and you just go, okay, just within 5 yards, you don't know who's going to get the ball. It would be interesting.
Unless the creativity is Ben Johnson, and therefore then the Bears might be the better answer there too.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know if you could do that to Caleb. I think
that's a good point. That's a
I don't
very
know if
good
Caleb
point.
has the mental toughness to deal with Anthony Richardson.
You're 100% right.
Maybe crying in his mom's arms soon once again. Malik Willis is the backup right now with the Packers.
He's done pretty well. People have really liked what he's done. He filled in great last year when Jordan Love got hurt.
He's a backup. Yeah, so I don't think it would be a terrible option. And then finally, the NFC South. Falcons, Panthers, Saints, Bucks. Who should go get
Saints,
Anthony
right?
Richardson?
I think the Saints would make the most sense.
They don't really they haven't announced a quarterback yet. You got Jake Hayner there. You got Spencer Rattler, and then the guy that they just used a second-round pick on, Tyler Shuck. Oh, shucks.
The fact that they used a second-round pick on Shuck and they're going to be a top 5 pick in the draft, there's no reason for them to bring him in. I would say the Panthers. I mean, you're obviously focusing on Bryce Young, but again, I mean, he was so bad his first year. The knock on him coming in was that he was just so small, so you just don't know if he's going to be able to take the hits and maintain it. So I guess go Panthers.
I know there's no great answers here. I would actually go Tampa Bay, similar to the Lions, just the creativity that you could have on the offensive side of the ball. You get down to the goal line. I don't like taking Baker off the field. I really do trust Baker. But you got a lot of big dudes there, and Mike Evans, Bucky Irving. You just throw them down there in a package. It just gives you a different element. So it is a Zach Gelb Show.
No, I think we did forget the NFC West.
Did we?
I think we skipped them.
Oh. Well, who would you like to see? Cardinals, Rams, 49ers, Seahawks. You're right. We did.
I think I'll go Rams myself because we don't know. Stafford, the back injury, we just don't know what's going on there. He's back at practice, but we just don't know. Plus his age. Stetson Bennett isn't the guy. Jimmy G isn't the guy. Maybe, with McVay's creativity, maybe he can do something there.
Stu?
I would say the Rams, but also I think the Cardinals would be interesting. He'd kind of be kind of a like for like with Kyler, be able to run the ball if Kyler gets hurt.
Yeah, I was going to say the Cardinals. What about the Seahawks? I know they have Drew Lock, they have Jalen Milroe, they have Sam Darnold. Maybe not a spot there, but I kind of think that Sam Darnold he's not going to be worth the money. So that's just why it popped into my head. But probably the Cardinals makes most sense because this is a big year. Andy Sable's been, I'll tell you that. But it's a big year for Kyler Murray. And I know that they brought in Jacoby Brissett as a backup, but that's what Jacoby Brissett is. So if Kyler gets hurt or doesn't play well, maybe you look for a little quarterback change, and that's it for Kyler Murray's time with the Arizona Cardinals. All righty, this is Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. We'll come on back. I'll update you some of the biggest stories in the world of sports with some audio. We do a news brief. Next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Time for your daily news brief. We get you caught up on the rumors, reports, and reconnaissance from the day in sports.
Okay, we know that Joe Flacco has been the starting quarterback, named the starting quarterback with the Cleveland Browns. Let's hear from Joe Flacco on being named QB1 once again in Cleveland.
I don't know if I was very emotional about it, but listen, you don't take for granted opportunities in this league, especially to get one at this point in my career is definitely special. But like I said, it's pretty much business as usual and just kind of trying to get better.
And let's go to Kevin Stefanski on when Flacco won the starting job in Cleveland.
He earned it, and I understand with the injuries, how that may look, that's really not the case here. Joe performed really well, both in practice, in the joint practices, in the meeting room, you name it, in the walkthrough, just what he's able to bring to the football team, he's earned that role.
And we'll keep it moving with the Browns. We will go one more time back to Kevin Stefanski. What is the quarterback depth after Joe Flacco? How about the second, third, fourth-string quarterback?
Not so concerned about depth chart, honestly. Really like our guys. They continue to work very hard, all of them. As you make decisions like this, you talk to the guys and you let them in on your thought process, but all of them should consider themselves get ready as a starter. That's how you have to handle being a backup in this league.
We played this for you earlier. I'll play it again just because the question and the way that the question is worded is so idiotic. And I understand, right? Myles Garrett did something stupid again. He was driving 100 miles per hour, and he had to answer the questions that were going to be asked to him by the media. He didn't want to talk about it. I get that. But the way that this question is worded, oh, my goodness gracious. What a terrible job at verbal diarrhea from this one reporter.
What is it like to be in that car and seeing that speedometer creep up toward 100, like 1 mile per hour?
I'd honestly rather talk about football on this team than anything I'm doing off field, other than the back to school, event that I did the other day.
But still, I mean, people want to know about that.
People want to know a lot of things.
Was anyone sitting there and saying, "Oh, I wonder what it's like to go 100 miles per hour"? Or they were just saying, "How stupid is Myles Garrett?" It almost be like if you had a killer that stabbed someone. You're like, what is it like to put a knife through somebody else's body? Like, who asked that? Just stupid. I know it's not as serious compared to what I just brought up, but really, really stupid just all around. So I'm intrigued by this. I really had no interest in watching the Netflix documentary that's coming on out, The Gambler and His Cowboys, about Jerry Jones, America's team. But I keep on seeing everyone raving about this on social media. So I guess I'm going to go home tonight. I'm going to walk home from work, get my 30-minute walk in. I didn't do my elliptical workout this morning because I had a long walk this morning. So I'm going to go on the elliptical, get back from the gym downstairs in my apartment unit, and I'll make myself some dinner. I'm going chicken sausage tonight with couscous and green beans and some onions. And I'm going to sit down. I'm going to start to watch this America's team, The Gambler and His Cowboys, via Netflix. I haven't heard anything from it in terms of clips or anything, but I keep on seeing people raving about it. Let's get a little sample. This is Jerry Jones on the pain of he likes the pain of being a GM.
And asked the question, why don't I hire a general manager? I've had people that said, Jerry, you subject yourself to so much criticism. You need a buffer. I don't like it like that. I like the pain.
One more time. That was great, Stu.
And asked the question, why don't I hire a general manager? I've had people that said, Jerry, you subject yourself to so much criticism. You need a buffer. I don't like it like that. I like the pain.
Oh, my God.
I like the pain.
Oh, my God. So you have the Cleveland Browns who have named their starting quarterback. It's Joe Flacco. The Colts have named Daniel Jones their starting quarterback. How about what's cooking in New Orleans? Kellen Moore, have you decided on a starter yet?
No, it's close. We look at every aspect of this quarterback situation, and so it's really, really close. Numbers, experiences, reps, everything. It's going all the way back to start of training camp. Everything is very, very close between this group, and so we'll just see how it all plays out.
Yeah, that's him saying we have 3 quarterbacks, so we don't have a quarterback. Come on, what are we doing here? Aaron Glenn, how confident is he about Justin Fields throwing deep?
Very confident, because that's what practice is for. I mean, you have so many people that want to talk about a small amount of plays these guys get to go out there and play. Then everything is falling down because we throw 6 passes. Then I mean, he's Johnny Unitas when we throw 4 passes. So it bothers me, and I laugh at it quite a bit. But the thing is, I understand it, because that's the noise that happens on the outside. That's our guys can't really listen to. Listen, we go out here and we practice our ass off every day to be who we're going to be. And that's where my confidence lies, and what these guys do on the grass here.
I don't know if Aaron Glenn's going to be any good or not as a head coach, but at the podium, he knows how to handle the New York media. That's what I'll say about him so far. Von Miller was on the Glory Days podcast. He says Peyton Manning is the greatest quarterback of all time. Let me hear.
You know, obviously it's going to be a debate between Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, who's the best. You know, for me, it'll always be Peyton Manning. He changed the quarterback position from checky. You know this more than me. You're the quarterback. From checky, change the play, come on, check the play, change the play again, go over top. He wasn't scrambling or doing none of that stuff. He did it all with his arm, and it was beautiful, man.
Yeah, because you won a Super Bowl with him. That's probably why. Peyton, to me, is the fourth best quarterback of all time right now. I would say 1, Brady, 2, Montana, 3, Mahomes. Next Super Bowl win for Mahomes, I think, moves him past Montana. And then 4th, Peyton Manning. It's not like crazy to say, but it is crazy because Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time. Let's go to Fran Brown over at Syracuse. Steve Angeli named the starting quarterback, and Fran Brown, he was keeping some old receipts. He wasn't always happy with Steve Angeli back when Fran Brown was coaching at Rutgers.
When I was at Rutgers, but he didn't answer the phone. He was acting funny, and I reminded him of that. Said, your punk ass ain't picked the phone up when I was calling you at the other spot. He talked to me one time, and then he never picked up again. But it's the game. I remember him getting an opportunity to go to Notre Dame, and it was really good for our state, for the state of New Jersey. But it was about 11th grade as I first got an opportunity to know who he was.
Notre Dame, Rutgers, Notre Dame, Rutgers, Notre Dame, Rutgers, Notre Dame, Rutgers. Tough decision. You know what, Rutgers? Even though you're the birthplace of college football, I think I'm going to go to Notre Dame. That's funny, though, from Fran Brown. Let's go to Ed Orgeron. Go Tigers. He was on Part of My Take with Barstool Sports, and he compares Arch Manning to Joe Burrow. Okay, you got my attention.
Going into this college football season, if you were coaching a team and I was like, hey, you get any player you want, what quarterback would you want to be coaching?
Arch Manning.
Yeah?
Arch Manning.
He's the real deal?
No doubt.
What makes you say that?
You know, I had an opportunity to go to Texas and speak to the clinic, and I watched practice. Now, we knew Arch Manning as a young kid from Louisiana. He liked Joe Brady. We watched him. But I watched his practice, and I'll say this conservatively, okay? And Garrett, we recruited Garrett. Garrett's a great player. But Arch is as close to, or maybe as good as Joe as I've seen.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I've never said that about anybody.
Conservatively. I actually partied once. I've talked about this with Ed Orgeron. Such a fun experience, I'll tell you. I was at a Super Bowl party a few years ago, and I'll never forget him coming on the show the next day. And he goes, you know, Zach, I'm recently divorced. How about the most beautiful woman you've ever seen at the party? So I reached out like 2 weeks ago to someone that is very close with Ed Orgeron. I said, is he interested in doing any media? He said, yeah, oh, come on. Because I was thinking, you know, what about Ed Orgeron return to coaching? And then he goes into the Chicago offices and Part of My Take, and that blows up. So I reached back in with that person. They told me they will get us Ed Orgeron at some point this season. So we're looking forward to our conversation with Eddie O. Let's go to Thomas Castellanos. He's already opened his mouth a lot at Florida State. Basically said Alabama is basically nothing without Nick Saban. And also did go on to say that he doesn't see anyone on the Alabama defense being able to stop him. Alabama is perceived to be the best defense in the country entering this season. Thomas Castellanos was talking about the Florida State defense and the Alabama defense earlier today.
Yeah, I think Coach White and our defense is the hardest defense I'll see all year. Just schematically and stuff like that, what they do. You know, it's hard to be back there and a lot of moving parts on their end. But, you know, it's helped me a lot and helped me be better and helped me progress as a quarterback and as a player and when to, you know, just take the check down or when to just eat it or throw it away and stuff like that and know when the play is over. So I think that deep, like seeing them every day for the last 3 weeks has helped me a lot and progress as a quarterback.
I'm a big fan of Tony White. I thought he could be a head coach, and he went from Nebraska as a DC to the DC at Florida State. Gus Malzahn, also offensive coordinator for Florida State this year after leaving UCF. I see a lot of people saying that's a shot at Alabama. I don't think so. Now, I know why people are going to say it's a shot because Thomas Castellanos has already taken actual shots at Alabama, but that to me is just him praising his own defense and praising the new defensive coordinator at Florida State. But I'll tell you, if Alabama's still Alabama, they'll cover that spread. I think it's like 12 or 13 points, and they'll just obliterate Florida State. Let's go to Cam Ward, last one. He got in a little kerfuffle yesterday. It's an appropriate time to use the word kerfuffle with Jeffrey Simmons of the Tennessee Titans. This is what Cam Ward learned from that incident.
Did I learn anything from it?
Just strong as
Yeah. I don't know if my quarterback should be getting into fights with maybe one of the most ferocious players in the NFL. Big, thick defensive lineman. I don't know if that's the smartest thing to do. That's a news brief. It is a Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. Update time first. Here is El Capitan, Marco Belletti.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
Zach, you just did a little bit with that Cam Ward defensive lineman, Jeffrey Simmons, little skirmish. And what did the number one pick learn?
Just strong as I would say. It was fun at the same time. And I think it was what we needed, though. I mean, we love competing, especially me, Jeff. And, I'm excited to have that man as my teammate. And so, I mean, I can't wait to see what he do. Sundays I already know what he about, but I get to see the real thing coming soon.
Now, a bit of a scare at Ravens camp. Lamar Jackson got his foot stepped on. He was knocked to the ground, forced him to leave practice 40 minutes early. Luckily, Jackson seems to be okay. Bears are in the hands of Caleb Williams, but they also locked up his backup, coming to terms with Tyson Bagent on a 2-year extension, that at $10 million. Falcons with a little bit of a worry here. Right tackle Caleb McGarry carted off the practice field, an apparent leg injury. MRI is still to come. Baseball, there's still one game going. That's the Guardians in front of the Diamondbacks 2-1. That's bottom of the 8th. Few finals as the Phillies dominate the Mariners 11-2. Kyle Schwarber, his 45th homer this season. He drove in 5 in all. Pirates held off the Blue Jays 2-1, courtesy of a Tommy Pham 2-run double in the first. And the Tigers lit up the Astros 7-2 as they scored 6 times in the first. I'm Marco Belletti.
This is the Infinity Sports Network. Follow us on X. Our handle is INF Sports Network. That's INF Sports Network on X.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Hey, this is Howie. And this is Nick. We're from the Backstreet Boys. And you're listening to the Zach Gelb Show. And guess what? Zach is back. All right.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show.
Oh, my God, we're back again.
So the University of Michigan, they announced their Hall of Honor class earlier today. And a friend of the radio program, John Jansen, got elected. So congratulations to John. We're very happy for him. Not only was he a phenomenal football player during his playing days with the Michigan Wolverines, did go on as a first-round draft pick in the NFL and had a good NFL career as well, and now does a great job representing the university, doing a lot of stuff on their radio broadcasts and in other opportunities as well, still with the football team. So congratulations to our friend John Jansen. I was going through people that are in the Hall of Honor for Michigan, and I was a little bit surprised that our buddy Leroy Horde was not in there. Guy won a Rose Bowl MVP. So Michigan, we appreciate you getting it right with John Jansen. I think it's time to start a campaign to get our buddy Leroy Horde in the Hall of Honor for his alma mater in Michigan. All right, it is Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. It's time to answer Ask the Pros question of the day. It's brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. You could submit a question by tweeting at INF Sports Center at Zach Gelb using the hashtag Ask the Pros. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Gentlemen, should we sing in unison here? Ready? A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Job well done. Woo! Kind of like that.
We're getting better every time. And I like how you conduct the orchestra.
Yeah.
Hands up, fingers, jazz fingers going.
I went a little, jazz fingers. They say twinkle fingers right there.
You go.
It would be a
Maybe
mess.
Twinkle toes.
It would be a complete mess if you didn't orchestrate it. We'd all be off.
Yeah.
And,
should we try it without you orchestrating?
No, let's not
You
try.
know, actually, would be the best. Is that the conductor?
Yes.
The best conductor, or the most confusing conductor, I actually would think would be Hickey. Because he's very handsy, right? And his hands go everywhere. Imagine Hickey just talking, trying to conduct everybody. I think it would actually work with the way that his hands just moving and skipping around the room. Brian in Salt Lake City says, Zach, if you were a betting man, which I know you are, how do you know that, Brian? Who would you put money on to be the best QB in college football at the end of the season? So in the SEC, I think it's all over the place. Nussmeier, Lenora Sellers, DJ Lagway, Arch Manning, John Mateer. The Big Ten, I think most people believe right now that it's Drew Aller at the end of the year. Could it be a Julian Sayin, Fernando Martinez, Luke Altmaier, Dylan Raiola, Bryce Underwood? Just some names to potentially throw out there. In the Big 12, most people would say it's Sam Leavitt. Would I be surprised at the end of the year it's Sawyer Robertson or Avery Johnson or Rocco Becht? No, I wouldn't. But you go through that, and, I think Ty Simpson is also a name to watch at Alabama in the SEC. But when you just go through the major conferences, I would say that the ACC, Cade Klubnik, it's really set up for Clemson to win that conference this year and Cade Klubnik to be the best quarterback. So my answer would be that I don't know if he has the highest ceiling, but I would probably say that Cade Klubnik at the end of the year is going to be regarded as the best quarterback in college football. Like in the ACC, you do have Haynes King, who I like. Carson Beck, big year for him. Eli Holstein is a good quarterback. At SMU, you got Kevin Jennings, who had a really good season. But do I feel as if I tell you right now, Drew Aller is the best quarterback in the Big Ten, is it a lock that he's going to be the best quarterback in the Big Ten at the end of the season? No. If I tell you right now that Sam Leavitt's the best quarterback at the end of the season in the Big 12, is it a lock that he's going to be the best quarterback at the end of the season in the Big 12? I think it's a good chance, but no. In the SEC, I don't even know who you would deem as the best quarterback right now. You could say Arch, you could say Lenore Sellers, you could say DJ Lagway, you could say John Mateer. There's just so many options right there. So I think Cade will be the best in his conference, and he has the least competition for someone to usurp him in his own conference. So I would say that Cade Klubnik's going to be the best quarterback in college football for this upcoming season. And hey, that Clemson program, it's nice to have Clemson back in the mix. And I know people are going to say, Zach, what are you talking about? Come on, they just won the ACC last year. They were just in the college football playoff. What are you saying that it's nice to have them back in the mix? Where I expect them to be a national championship contender. And you look at their schedule this year for Clemson. They open up the season up against LSU, coming up on August 30th, the Battle of Death Valley. That's going to be a really fun game. They then play Troy, who cares? Then at Georgia Tech, really good. Cade Klubnik up against Haynes King, and Georgia Tech had a really good showing towards the end of the season. When you take a look back at Georgia Tech, they had that big performance up against Georgia where they lost in like 7 overtimes. They also had that nice victory up against Cam Ward in Miami. So you kind of just look at this schedule. They play Syracuse after that. They got Bill Belichick after that. All right, BC, who cares? SMU, rematch of the ACC championship. Duke, who I think is criminally underrated this year. You then play Florida State. Can they bounce back? Louisville. Jeff Brom's a good coach. You play Furman, and you wrap up the season with South Carolina. You look at that schedule, you get your run-of-the-mill, right? You get your solid ACC teams, I should say. But that opening game of the season, man, you really need to see Clemson beat LSU. And I'm going to compare it to a few years ago when I believe Clemson, was it last year, actually? Oh, yeah, it was last year. Oh, my God. That seems like a few years ago. I was going to say, like, when they played Georgia, open up the season, they got stomped. And that was last year. They got stomped by Georgia to open up the season, 34-3. And at the time, right, everyone was like doom and gloom on Clemson, and it just shows you how far off they are from the standard. And looking back at it, it makes that loss look even worse now, knowing what Georgia was last season. Sure, Georgia did go on to win the SEC, but they were a vulnerable Georgia. Now, you look back at Clemson and this task at hand, LSU this year is not better than what Georgia was last year. But if you once again lose an opening game to an SEC opponent to start off the season, all that good kind of feeling that you had the last, this offseason goes away, and it's okay. Is Clemson really just a really good team that will win the ACC, or are they going to be a great team? Your season doesn't end week 1 if you lose. But I will question that team. And also, you look at Clemson. 3 years ago, they lost to Duke on the opening day, 28-7. Last year, they got stomped by Georgia. I know in the NFL, we talk about Cincinnati with the Bengals. Oh, Joe Burrow and the Bengals. They got to get off to a quick start. Oh, for Clemson, I do think it needs to be a priority, and there needs to be a heightened awareness this year for them to get off to a quick start. And you get a good task in week 1 up against LSU, where we know LSU could score a lot of points. We know that Brian Kelly with his Tiger family is a good coach, but you're expected to win that game. I'm not saying you were expected to beat Georgia last year. You weren't. You were expected to beat Duke a few years ago, and you didn't win. But Clemson's a team that they have a statement to make in week 1. And there's some really good games to open. Like, Arch Manning has a statement to make in week 1. The number 1 team in the country, you're an underdog. You have a statement to make. Alabama has a statement to make up against Florida State. Hey, Thomas Castellanos, we're still Alabama, for crying out loud. Alabama. I always think of Pat McAfee a few years ago at the SEC championship game when he did, "What's that coming down the track?" and sang the whole Georgia song, and then he goes, "Give me Alabama." So now every time I hear Alabama, it's Alabama. And then you look at the Cincinnati Bengals and making that comparison, where Clemson needs a strong start this year after 2 straight years of starting the season off with an L. You look at the Bengals, they open up their season. If the Bengals don't start off 2-0 this year, we got problems. They're at Cleveland, and then they play the Jaguars. You got to start off 2-0. I can't be sitting here in another September where the Bengals are off to another poor. I'm going to say a word that I couldn't say. Oh, actually, I can say that word on the radio because Mark Schlereth said it, piss poor. You can't have another piss poor performance this year for the Cincinnati Bengals to start off the season. All righty, we'll be back tomorrow on a Thursday. It is the Zach Gelb Show right here on the Infinity Sports Network. Appreciate Ryan Hot Take Hickey taking that beating that he did take earlier in the show. So we appreciate him stopping on by. Stink Mark Schlereth also joined us as well. Always enjoyed the conversation with him. And I love the take from Mark Schlereth. And I agree with it wholeheartedly that Jackson Dart should be starting week 1 for the New York Giants, even though they have already said, oh, it's going to be Russell Wilson. Big thanks to Stu. Big thanks to Samter. Big thanks to Marco. On our National Radio Day, we do thank you, the listening audience, most importantly. Because we have fun jobs, right? We have great coworkers. We have great bosses. We have a great platform here. But without you guys, we can't have a happy National Radio Day. So, yes, it's supposed to be our day, but it's really your day. So we thank the listening audience that tunes in each and every day to the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network across all the great local Infinity Sports Network affiliates, Sirius XM Channel 375, the free Odyssey app, the iHeartRadio app, and streaming live on YouTube. So I'll be polite. I'm usually not polite. But thank you. We really do appreciate you. Be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific time, everybody. We out. Bye-bye. Peace.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.